Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Hot Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. Come on.
Chris Camp hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. Holy cow. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. It's over the wall. It's a home run for Bucky Beck. Fumble. Giants have it. Lawrence Taylor struck the ball.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes.
Gud till alla precious. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Yeah, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Hit och dit, julkavalin, hår och mjuka klappar. Hit och dit, nästa som hit, ett de levande djupen. Lacka, packa, glöm ej, tacka, klä din gran och dina barn. Snart kommer hit som mera fester för alla utom mig. Att vara ensam på jul kan väl aldrig vara kul. Men jag tar det lugnt, lov mig ingen fest, ingen häst. Alldeles ensam i julen med. Jul och stök, alla är här nu på gästen under granen. Tomt och gröt, vad man vill sök, glöggen blänker i baren. Skinka och sill, ägg och lite till, barnen skriker och leker. Ska du sitta ner när festen behöver mer, slår det att jag ser. Att vara själv när det är jul kan vara riktigt skönt, eller hur? Julen är här, men jag tar det lugnt, slår mig ner. Annars tung, ingen fest, ingen häst. Alldeles ensam i julen med. Midvinternattens köld är hård. Stjärnorna gnistrar och glimmar. Alla sover ensligård djupt under midnattstimmar. Månen vandrar sin sista barn. Snön lyser vit på fur och gran. Snön lyser vit på taken. Enda tomten är vaken.
Va? Är tomten naken?
Julen är här, men jag tar det lugnt. Slår mig ner, annars tung, ingen fest, ingen häst. Alldeles ensam i julen med. Men jag tar det lugnt, slår mig ner. Annars tung, ingen fest, ingen häst. Alldeles ensam i julen med.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that is my cue to start the show. Welcome to the Hard Rocket Sports Show live on a Thursday night from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the world of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, folks, it's the holiday season. Miracles happen. That's what we have been taught our whole lives. Santa can show up on your doorstep on Christmas morning with beautiful presents. And he's already landed on my doorstep. I have meaningful football games for my beloved Juggernaut New York Football Giants. That's right. The Giants are playing meaningful football in December. We're in first place. We control our destiny. This is it. I'm gonna before I get Jeff on, I'm gonna have a little fun here for a minute. And we got a lot to get to tonight, guys. Plenty of show. We got Mick Michaels from Corners of Sanctuary popping in about 8 o'clock. Mike Passamante from the Pastor Mike Show is going to come on for a few minutes, but it's been a while since Mike's on. My dad's hanging on the line. We got a lot to get to. But let me just say this, guys. It's not what team you're playing. It's when you're playing them. You know, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, teams would have paid for the Giants' flight, their hotel, possibly giving them meal money to get them to show up and play a game. And not that the Giants were a terrible team, because they really weren't. They weren't a good team, but they weren't terrible. They just didn't know how to win. That's all I kept saying was, this team is better, just don't know how to win yet. Well, folks, they found out how to win. And I'll tell you what, nobody wants to play the Giants. Now, I'm not telling you people running scared. Nobody wants to face the Giants. I'm just telling you, nobody wants to play the Giants because of two things. Well, three things. One, they're a very well-coached football team. They don't make a ton of mistakes, okay? Two, they run the ball really well, and nobody wants to get run on anymore in the NFL. Three, their defense is almost scary. They're led by the one and only Leonard Williams with 8.5 sacks, okay? A guy who was beat and abused by one Jeff Talwinski has 8.5 sacks. And is the leader of that defense. A secondary just shutting people down. James Bradbury may be the best corner in football right now, the way he's playing. So nobody wants to play the Giants now. Now, will the Giants win the Super Bowl? No. Can the Giants make the playoffs? Absolutely. Can they win a game? I think they can. I don't care. They're playing meaningful football, unlike the disgrace that's across the hall. A disgrace, which we're going to get to right now. We got plenty to get to. The holiday season's upon us. Don't forget, next Thursday night's a big Christmas show. I'll announce that what we're going to do during the holiday season. But we are here next Thursday night. We got Leonard Anthony, better known as Leonard Torselli, coming on to sing some songs and talk baseball with us. Carmine Glorioso is going to pop in, the doctor, and do a little of his version of the Christmas reading. We got a couple other people who are possibles. We got, of course, my partner in crime, Mr. Jeff Talwinski, who will close the show with a dramatic reading of his own. He may go the Linus route. Maybe he's going to go with the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas route. I don't know what he's going to do, but let's get him on, and maybe he'll enlighten us on what he's going to do. F.A., how was your week, brother?
Horrible.
Horrible?
Horrible.
Why is that, Jeff? Why is it horrible? Because the Giants are in first place and heading the juggernaut that they are heading to the playoffs?
I feel so bad for you, man. It's unbelievable. I really do. I feel horrible.
Before you get to how terrible you feel.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You get to fucking keep me on mute as long as you want. That's no. There's a few things that need to be addressed. So when other people come on, they can speak their mind too if they choose.
Go ahead. I'll let you speak your mind. Go ahead.
First of all, you make it seem like they're right now 12-0.
They're not.
Okay? And the only undefeated team in the NFL. They're not.
They're not.
They're still 2 games under 500. That's
agreed.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, Leonard Williams a fucking retread. Okay. He's horrendous. So he got his career total in sacks in 1 year. Big deal.
Okay. It is a big deal.
What else did you say? Nobody wants to play the Giants?
No. Why would anybody want to play the New York Giants right now?
Because I wouldn't want to play them either. Afraid that some of that fungus is going to come off on him. I wouldn't want my team out there if I was a coach. If I was a player, I wouldn't want them out there either. So I am gonna throw the gauntlet down on you right here, right now.
Wow, the gauntlet. You were challenging my credibility today, so let's have it. Go ahead.
I was gonna go that route.
You were.
But you know what? I'm gonna call you out on something that you're either gonna have to put up or you could never say another word.
Go ahead, bring it on, big man.
Okay, Tommy Florio, I dare you. I double dog dare you. I fucking triple dog dare you.
Wow.
To get that fucking New York Giants logo tattooed somewhere on that body of yours.
I'll make you a deal.
No. That is the deal. That is the deal. They cannot variate. I'm the one throwing it down. If you're such a big supporter and such a big fan, you got to get that logo somewhere on you.
Well, I'll give you my answer before the show is over. How's that?
If not, your team sucks.
Well, that does not me tattooing the Giant logo, which, by the way, is a beautiful logo.
It will impact the rest of their season because if you don't get it done, they're going to lose every game.
Well, Jeff, here's what I'll disagree with you about. I think the Giants. We're going to get to the Giants. The last 4 weeks of the season for them, the Jets, and the NFL. There's some interesting divisions going on right now. So there's plenty of football to get to tonight. We're going to talk a little bit. Let's see. We got Jets, Giants. Jeff, big news this week, and you're not going to know why this is big news, but the big news for me this week, beside the Giants being in first place and the juggernaut that nobody wants, Squiggy died.
Yes, I know.
Now, it's important because there's a certain member of Lenny and the Squigtones who went on after that, catapulted to stardom as
Derek St. Hubbins, Michael St. Hubbins, whatever the name was, Derek St.
Hubbins. Michael McKeon played Derek St. Hubbins. And it was the first time I was introduced to Michael McKeon as Lenny. But Lenny the musician was quite the musician now that you look back on it. And then there was hey, wait a second. The first time I saw Spinal Tap, isn't that Lenny from Lenny and Squiggy?
Mm-hmm.
And he's really a musician? And I was confused as a young child. Confused.
Yes, we all were.
Right. So Squiggy passed away.
Some of us stayed confused and rooted for teams like the Giants.
And we'll play a little bit of Lenny and the Squigtones somewhere down the line. Could you imagine, guys, that the NFC East is going to come down to the Giants and the Redskins? Wow, this really is 2020. That's scary. That's what the NFC
Redskins are going to squeak it out.
Well, we'll get to that. You know what? It's very possible right now. The Redskins are a good defensive team. I'm not buying too much of what I saw the other night. I don't know if you watched the Redskins play the Steelers. The Steelers looked terrible.
No, I actually did not even know. I just happened to stumble across it by accident. To tell you.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about again about I'm not making this totally about the Giants, but Jeff, sometimes it's not what team you're playing. It's when you get to play them. The Steelers 4 weeks ago, nobody wanted. I bet you there's not a lot of teams scared of the Steelers the way they look right now.
The Steelers, listen, to you and a few others that may or may not be listening, okay? The Steelers lose one game, and everybody wants to fucking knock them out of the playoffs. I don't understand this. I do not understand it. They're 11-1. Okay?
Yeah, but I watched the Raven game before that. They didn't look good. The Cowboy game, they hung on to win that against a journeyman quarterback I had never heard of. They're 11-1, and they're still second favorite in probably all of football to win. I'm not buying too many people in the NFC right now, so it's Chiefs and them. But I will tell you that they are not playing great football right now, Jeff. So I'm not throwing it out. I'm just telling you that they're not a great football team at this moment.
I don't know, man. Come on, good football teams. Bad football teams don't go 11-1.
Yeah, but your season can change. Don't forget they've lost Dupree. They've had a bunch of guys out on COVID. Their schedule has been, just horrendous. 1 week they're playing on Tuesday, they'll play another for 10 days. So there's a lot of reasons, but sometimes things change in the season. Look at the Ravens. Everybody thought the Ravens were going to win the Super Bowl this year, and now the Ravens can't get out of their own way. The Cardinals have lost 3 in a row after coming out, and everybody kind of having that maybe they'll win the division thing. So listen, things change, but we'll break down the NFL. Tyson Holyfield looks like it might be real. Screw you, I ain't watching it. Wentz is benched. Again, we got Mick Michaels. David Hasselhoff is going metal, Jeff. We're going to talk a little bit about David Hasselhoff going metal. And Mick Michaels from the band Corners of Sanctuary, who I got to tell you guys, I unfortunately had never heard before. I got to listen to their new album thanks to John Mahefka and the guy, everybody down at RFL Records. And Heroes Never Die is a really good. And, I love the way, here's what I love about it. It's the new wave of traditional heavy metal. Wow. I like that. It's an old throwback to obviously the new wave of British heavy metal. And, again, I haven't done a lot of exploratory, but I'll tell you this album is a good one. And we'll get more into that. They have a Christmas single coming out. So it's already out. So we'll get to Mick Michaels. But, Jeff, for now, my dad's on. Mike Passamonte's coming up. Plenty to get to. But let me ask you a question, Jeff. How was your week?
It was horrible, man.
It was horrible. Why was it horrible? Because the Giants were in first place, so your whole bowels were thrown upside down.
Well, it had something to do with the Giants.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I don't think that they're getting the. I think they're getting too many accolades.
And you don't like what is going to happen, Jeff, if they make the playoffs and win a game? Will you at that point admit that you were wrong?
No, I'm never wrong.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah.
Just curious.
First of all, even if they make the playoffs,
okay.
Even if by some chance they make the playoffs, I hope they go all the way to the fucking Super Bowl and then lose. This way, they'll pick 31st in the first round, and it'll be like a second round pick. Wow. And then all of their picks will be later in the draft, and then next year they'll finish like 2-12, 2-14.
You gotta remember, this team is young. They have there's not huge holes on this team right now.
Oh, there's gonna be.
No.
Oh, yes, there's gonna be.
Again, there's a lot to get to, but let's get my dad on. Let's see what he wants to talk about, because we got Mike Passamonte coming up behind him, and then we got plenty of time to dissect the Giants, the disgrace that is the New York Jets, for many reasons, besides the fact they haven't won in 50-something years. But let's get my dad on, see what he's got to say, because I always love to talk to my pops. What's up, Pop?
What's up, guys? You guys make me laugh. I tell you, the Giants look good.
Yep.
I think their defense looks tremendous, especially against the run.
Yeah.
They look fantastic. The Jets, I can't understand. You playing a man-on-man with 9 seconds left in the game. You know they got to throw the bomb. Oh. There's no doubt in your mind. And you let this guy get behind you. The whole coaching team should be fired.
Well, good point.
That had to be the stupid. How can you send a rookie against somebody like that? And I've seen people lose games, but never like that. I mean, I'm surprised the Jets would even show up. I'd have no guts to come back tomorrow, Sunday. I really feel sorry for them. I think they have the nucleus of a good team. I just think they're very poorly coached. After that, you have to. You can't blame the defense on it.
No.
Defensive coach. I just think they're terrible. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, and I'm sure I didn't hear it mentioned, the passing of Dick Allen.
Pops, I am going to mention that tonight, but yeah, please, you know what? Bring up Dick Allen, because he's one of those guys that I don't know a lot about. I've heard all the stories and how great a player he was, but you're the perfect guy to talk about it.
Well, I got to tell you, I've seen him in person. He was a very nice man. I mean, he waved to us in the stand, and we weren't kids. I mean, we were teenagers, and he was very nice. And let me tell you something. That was the closest. If you wanted to have a perfect ball player, he was the closest to it.
Really?
His problem was mentally. He just didn't give a sugar.
Now that we've helped people
anybody.
customize and save with Liberty,
play, and you wouldn't see him for 3-4 days, and then he would come and the ball would be hit. He just look at it. He just, but he was, God, he was some ball player. And it's a shame that he's going to probably get voted into the Hall of Fame. But they waited till after he died to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because he really, really was if you could ever read statistics, he could run, he could hit. He had all the tools to as a great. If you took Mickey Mantle and you took Willie Mays and you took Harmon Killebrew and put them together, it would come out Richie Allen.
Wow. That's high praise from you.
Good of a ball player.
No, that's high praise.
Just that he had a very bad attitude.
Okay.
That was his biggest problem. Now, why he had it, I have no idea. I've never really saw an interview with him.
Yeah, me either.
He just did, but he was a good ball player. But now I would put this with Jeff. I would ask Jeff if he wants you to put the tattoo of the Giants. If the Giants go to the Super Bowl, will he put the Giant tattoo on his body?
Wow, my dad throwing down the challenge, Jeff. My dad throwing down the challenge at you.
I'll tell you what. Okay, if the Giants go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl, I will get that tattooed on my sack.
Let me tell you something. that is bogus.
I would
If,
pay for it.
if the Giants make it to the Super Bowl, you said they wouldn't come near the playoffs. Yeah, not win it, just make it. You got to get the tattoo.
No. First of all, these guys are 5-7 with 4 games left, and you're already anointing them NFC champs.
I did not anoint them. We just
team.
That's right. Not when you play, not who you play, when you play them, right, Pops?
It's when you play.
Mm-hmm.
It really don't matter in the beginning because there were games that they lost that they should have won.
That's right.
That they either made a mistake.
But they did lose those games, correct?
Oh, here we go.
They did lose those games, though, correct?
Here we go.
Just simply yes or no will suffice, please. Thank you.
They were 1-7. Now what are they? 5-7.
That's right.
Listen, I'm not trying to say they're going to go. All I'm saying to you is I'd rather be on the plus side.
That's it.
They're showing good promise.
Yeah, they look great.
I saw Pittsburgh.
I remember them playing an undefeated team in the Super Bowl, and we seen how that worked out.
Well, you know what? Everybody said the same thing when they played, New England 16-0. The Giants should just give them the trophy.
Yep.
And look what happened.
That's right.
Good defense will almost always beat a good offense. I don't care what anybody
Not
says.
this time around. This team made of plastic.
Well, listen, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Jeff, and that if you want to pipe in after, who is the front runner in the NFC? Like, who really is good in the NFC right now? Like, if you had to pick 2 teams or 3 teams, Jeff, and I'm not going to put the Giants in there, but if you had to say there's 2 teams that were favored, they're by far the best teams in the NFC. Who are they?
I'd go with Green Bay and maybe the Rams.
Yeah, see, now Green Bay had a couple stinkers lately.
But they're still in first place in their division.
So the Giants.
The Saints are just continue to win. I know that they're going to lose come the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know that. But they're still winning.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rams seem to be getting a little hotter.
Listen, the Rams are a fair one. I don't agree with Green Bay. I've seen too many stinkers from them lately. But Pop, like I said, nobody's running away with it in the NFC. I think at this point, the parity in the NFC, anybody could beat anybody. I mean, look at Giants go out to the West Coast, beat an 8-3 team. Most people picked to win that division. And, Green Bay's lost a couple games that they shouldn't have lost. Pop, anybody can win the NFC right now.
I agree with you. It's a wide open season. Whatever, 4 games left.
4 games left.
4 games left. And it is wide open. Kansas City right now is the best team in the AFC. There's no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to pick the best team, I would say Green Bay. And the only reason I take Green Bay, they got the best quarterback in the NFC.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If I had to have anybody, that's the guy I want. And the receivers he's got, it's just a matter of who's playing who.
Yep.
But I think it's going to be Green Bay and Kansas City. And the Giants, whatever they do, if they lose all 4 games, they're still showing me what they did.
Yeah.
What they're doing. And the Jets, I think they got to get rid of them. I don't know. I really feel bad because I like the Jets. I hate to see any New York team like that, but I think Sunday that took the heart and soul right out of them.
They had nothing left.
So bad.
On Sunday happened. They really did.
Yeah, listen. Watch out for the Dolphins in the AFC. I think the Dolphins are one of those teams that just seem to play well. I mean, they're well coached. Be careful of the Dolphins. Don't sleep on that team. Yeah, the Steelers could wake up tomorrow and be a good team. The AFC to me right now by far is the better conference. No doubt in my mind.
I can believe I can say that.
Well, I mean, Kansas. Listen,
Kansas City.
Yeah,
is what it is. Kansas City. I mean, listen. I watched Pittsburgh the other night. They look like Ratzenberger didn't even look like he was on the field. He didn't want to be there. He was looking. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I agree.
You can't be up 14-0 and then all of a sudden just stop. I'm sorry, man. They're too good of a team, and he's too good of a quarterback to let that happen.
Yeah.
But you looked at him. He was like, "Well, wait, when is this game going to be over? I want to get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
So I guess the 11-0 didn't mean anything to them. Because how did they lose that game? I don't know. Yeah,
listen, I turned that game on and I was happy. It was It was 14-0. I said, great. Giants gonna have a 1-game lead, and then as you watched it, it just you saw the momentum change, and that defensive line is good. If that defensive line plays like that, they're a tough team to beat. They're not good anywhere else, to be honest, that I see. But when that defensive line is playing well, and I'll give Alex Smith credit, Jeff. He's not a bad quarterback. He's a good game manager, and if you give him a chance, he can beat you.
It's possible, but I would be so leery if I had Alex Smith on my team that one shot and he gets gun shy. Never mind, just gets injured.
Yeah.
Don't you see him like one shot away from being gun shy to the point where maybe he can't operate even as a game manager at this point in time?
Yeah, listen, of course, I'm going to guarantee you it's in the back of his head. The guy went through 17 surgeries, nearly lost his leg. I don't know if he's gotten that hit yet. Huh?
Nearly lost his life. Never mind just his leg.
Yeah, again, I think, I don't know if he's gotten that low hit yet where he kind of feels it and goes, uh-oh. I don't know if that's happened to him yet. I haven't watched all of their games. I got to see 2 of them so far with him involved. So we'll see. I mean, listen, we'll break down the NFC East a little later. Kind of weird, guys. The Giants-Browns games gets flexed from a 1 o'clock start to the 8 o'clock start, bouncing, the national, the America's team out of the night game. I think that's an interesting thing. And listen, the Giants got four tough games. Maybe 3. I don't think the Cowboy game last game is a tough game, but it's still Cowboys Giants.
It's a division game, man. Yeah. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, again,
Dallas does not want the Giants to go in over them.
Absolutely, agreed.
If I was the Giants, I'd feel that way.
But again, so we'll get to it later. But Pop, I appreciate you calling, Pop. Like always, we love having you. And the Richie Allen thing.
Listen, you guys have a good night.
Yep.
Enjoy it, Jeff. I want to see that tattoo.
Yeah, Tommy's going to get it.
Pop, he's the worst, Pop. That's all I can tell you. Thanks, Dad.
Enjoy it and take care, guys.
All right, that's my daddy. Checks in every week with us. We love having him on. He brings up the old school stuff. Richie Allen passing away this week. We lost a lot of them, Jeff, this year. We're going to break that down. Hey, Jeff, before
Pat Patterson also, man.
Huh?
Pat Patterson also.
Yeah, there's a bunch. 2020 is a tough year, Jeff. We'll break it down at the last show of the year when we do our remembrances of all the musicians and athletes that we lost. You kind of do a great job with that every year. But we'll announce what we're going to do during the holidays. But again, next week is the big Christmas show. Lenny Torselli, the doctor, will be on to do his own version of of a Christmas classic, which he's promising me will be R-rated, Jeff, not X-rated.
Yeah, we're gonna have to discuss that.
Okay,
we'll discuss that later.
Okay,
another time.
All right.
A conflict of interest with that.
Okay, we'll get to it. But guys, remember to come back next Thursday night when we have our big Christmas spectacular right here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. But speaking of spectacular, Jeff, and a very good segue, I want to go on to what I think is the most spectacular show host on Wednesday nights. And that is, of course, our good friend Mike Passamonte. And he, Jeff, is the host of the Pastor Mike Show. Right on.
Yeah, it's just another way to skirt the issue, Tom.
But
no offense, but before you say anything, just another way for you to skirt the issue, to run from everything by keep putting people on after people after people. All right, this is what Giant fans do. They refuse to stand up and take the abuse that they deserve.
Listen, I'm right here.
Jeff, let me tell you something. We had this big discussion before the season started when the NFL was announcing that they were expanding their playoffs. And all I heard from Tommy is you're going to get these crappy, watered-down teams that make the playoffs. I don't want to see a team that doesn't deserve to be there. Now, you could give me everything you want about divisions, but that's a made-up thing, divisions. In the beginning, it was just, like in baseball, it was American League, National League. You weren't first, you weren't. Then they wanted a little more competition, so they split into divisions. But you winning your division. Now, I agree the way it is, the team that wins the division should make it. I also don't see anything wrong with adding a team or two to the playoffs. Doesn't water it down. When we see the Giants or Washington in at 6-10 go into the playoffs and play a playoff game, you have no argument if you're going to watch that and root for that team that there shouldn't be a 7th or 8th team in the playoffs. That's all I'll say. I don't want to get.
I'll disagree, and here's why I'll disagree. If you want to tell me starting next year, okay, because you can't do it now, it's because it's too late. If you want to tell me next year there's no divisions and it's going to be the top 7 teams, top 8 teams, top 6 teams make it, I'm with you. I don't like the fact of below 500 teams making the playoffs. I do think it's watered down. I totally agree. But here's my only point. The Giants win the division at 5-7. There's no choice. You can't say, oh, you're 5-7, you won your division, you're not getting in. If the rules are changed, I'm all for it.
No, but Tommy, you're arguing, you're making Jeff get a tattoo on his nutsack because you're arguing that the Giants are actually a good team.
They are.
And they're going to get in the playoffs. Well, how could you say those two things? You just said that you don't want to see a team with a bad record in the playoffs, and then you're going to argue that they're such a good team.
No, my problem, they are a good team. They're a better team now, Mike, than they were 5 weeks ago. So
okay, last year Denver and the Jets were both 6-2 down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
They both sucked. I mean, what's that mean? They didn't make the playoffs. They weren't. I wasn't going to go say they were a good team or they deserve to be in the playoffs just because you play. You know, Tommy, they won 5 games. They won. Now I do think they're playing really well. I do, but their body of work with your argument. See, my point is you're making 2 arguments. Do I think they deserve to be in the playoffs? Yeah, because that's the way it's set up right now.
Correct.
Do I think if you put a 7th and 8th team in the playoffs, it's good for the sport? I do.
Okay, Jeff, if you're going to jump in before I answer that.
First of all, this tattoo on the nutsack, that's not happening no matter what the fucking Giants do. You would have supposed to.
Yeah, because you'd never be able to see the NY.
Oh, I know, because the head would be too big. Second of all, who's this guy, Carl Graham?
Carl's is
on fucking Jet fans. Isn't this some guy that from Wednesday night?
Yes.
Some has-been fucking radio host or whatever it is.
He's not a has-been.
Just fucking press the mute button on this guy. I don't even know this guy. I don't like him.
Carl's one of the best co-hosts, one of the best sidekicks in the industry.
Carl's a great guy.
That's right. Listen,
Carl's a great guy.
Here's my only point. And here's the problem with the NFL, and it's not a problem. The way it's set up is division winners get in. And I don't like the lower teams. I wish the Giants were 7-5 instead of 5-7. What I don't like when you keep adding wild cards is then you are bringing in the lower class teams. I can't help the Giants or any other team that wins a division at a bad record. I don't think it's good for everybody. But that's just the way it's set up. Would I mind if they made it where the best teams get in? I guess I think that's what's deserved. But my problem with bringing in more wild card teams is now you're automatically bringing in teams that wouldn't make the playoffs because they couldn't win a division and they're not going to be one of the first 2 wild cards. So that's my only problem with it. I don't like it, but the problem.
But you see how you
I get it.
Different things, right?
I get it. I get that point. Mike, you're 100.
Like that number 8 seed could be playing the best football in the NFL at that
Agreed.
point.
Agreed. I
don't want to get too much into it. It's just what you guys are talking about. Yeah.
Let's talk about the Jets. That's what
I
want to hear
about the Jets.
All right. Here's what I'm going to say first. I want to go before I get to you 2 Jet fans. My first question is, how did Mike? I'll let you go first since you're the guest. How did Adam Gase not get fired and was allowed to fire his defensive coordinator, who he could have easily overridden and not let him call that defense? Mike, how does Adam Gase have a job today?
Leave it to the Jets, who have been the worst offensive team last year and this year statistically, like the worst offensive team in football with an offensive head coach. Leave it to them to fire their defensive coordinator after one really bad call. But here's what I'll say. Adam Gase is going. He's not staying. He's going. He's at the end of the year, there is zero chance, even if he wins out right now, zero chance he stays as head coach. The reason that Williams had to go, one, it was the worst call you've ever seen. The worst call you've ever seen.
Easily.
You had every announcer saying that they might have been doing it on purpose until he got fired. Like, it was that bad. Second of all, and this is the big reason why, not just because it was a bad call, once your players turn on you, it's over. So the players have not turned on Gase. A couple of guys speaking out. But once all the players turn around and say, we don't understand the call, we don't know why it happened, we had to play through it, and they went against Williams, that's when he had to go.
Agreed. Jeff, give us your thought. Why does Adam Gase still have a job on Monday morning and Greg Williams doesn't?
Because I think the Jets want that first pick, and Adam Gase's coach gives them the best shot at getting it. Why are you going to do anything now to take a chance of getting a win? You got 4 games left in the season. Win one of them, and already you're in the second pick. So to me, Greg Williams, I don't know what. Maybe Greg Williams just wanted to get fired so that he could get the fuck out of there. Maybe he's had it there, and he did what he had to do. Because not for nothing, any single person with any kind of football IQ into the double digits would know that you don't do that. That was unbelievable. I can't believe that he actually did that.
He did it twice. You know, Mike.
That's what I was going to say. The play before that play, Aguilar got loose and just missed the ball. Carr overthrew him by a foot. Now, seeing that they almost just beat you in that fashion, how do you call an all-out blitz? Here's the only thing. If I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist, here's my only thing that would go through my head. Not that Greg Williams is trying to get the number 1 pick, because that, he's not going to be here if they get the number 1 pick.
They're not going to be there to deal with the number 1 pick. You're 100% right.
But follow me here. If Adam Gase wins a game or two, maybe they keep him to the end of the year. But if he loses a couple more games, maybe this one, if they fire Gase, Williams is automatically the head coach, the interim head coach. Maybe if I'm going to be a conspiracy theorist, that's the way I would go. Maybe he throws the game because he thinks he's not going to get fired and Gase is going to get fired. But I just think it was incompetence. I think it was arrogance and incompetence, and it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. I think Jets just keep coming up with ways to just amaze you.
I think he wanted to show that he's not afraid to blitz in any situation, that he thought that his defense was going to be able to handle the situation at hand and get a sack or do something. But I mean, listen, I would have rushed one guy and put fucking 10 back.
That's what I said. 2 guys and put 9 back and 2 guys guard the sidelines and guard the Hail Mary. That's it. You got 46 yards, no timeouts, and 12 seconds. It's impossible to make that play. Impossible.
Well, but let me ask you guys as Jeff fans. Jeff, I want to ask you first. I can't ask you. I already asked you this. I know the answer. Jeff, I don't know if you watch it live or not. I was watching the game, and after the Jets got the ball, but they stopped the Raiders going in with about a minute and change left, and the Jets got the ball back, and I thought it was over. So we switched over to the Giant game, and then my son happened to be half a minute later was checking scores and he looked up and said, "Dad, the Jets lost." I said, "It's impossible." We switched over, and sure enough. But Jeff, as a Jet fan who might have been watching the game, here's the question: when the Jets are winning, I'm assuming most Jet fans are cursing, going, "I can't believe they're going to blow this. They're going to win this game," and then they go ahead and the pass play happens and they lose. In that moment, as a Jet fan, are you going, "I can't believe they lost the game," or you're thinking, "Great, they lost the game"? We lost Mike. What's the thought process as a Jet fan going through your brain?
Well, what happened to me, kind of a funny story. I was telling my guy at work what happened, like if the Jets lost, they would stand a better chance of getting a first overall pick. So he texts me with like a minute and change left in the game, and he tells me that the Jets won.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought so too.
Yeah, I was actually driving to band practice. So I grabbed the phone, I look on ESPN, and I'm like, what is he talking about? There's like a minute something left, and the Raiders just got the ball. So I put the radio on, and I'm listening to the radio, and Bob Rashusin making the call. And I heard the call on the radio, and I couldn't fucking believe. Like, he couldn't believe it. He was calling it, and he couldn't believe it. Like, he stopped talking for a second or two.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he was in shock. And I was like, they found a completely new way to lose a game.
Yeah.
I can't believe what they did. That's the guy, if you remember right, when they announced the Raiders were taking that guy Ruggs, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Henry Ruggs.
He was like, why are they taking this guy? And it turns out that he's like a total burner.
Yeah, absolutely.
He ran the 40 in like 4.2 or something.
Yeah, he's amazingly fast. Yes.
Yeah, and man, he got beyond that guy, and he faked the guy out of his socks.
Well, that was my biggest problem with it. If you're going to play, and Mike's back, we keep losing Mike. I don't know, Mike's signal's a little off tonight. We keep losing Mike. But my biggest problem, and I know Mike disagrees with me, But as a corner playing in that situation, 12 seconds left, I'm catch the ball in front of me, but I can't let you double move me. But I'm not blaming the corner on this. This is strictly going to Greg Williams, and it's going even more. He's the head coach. This is not. This is not a.
He's gone anyway, though. He's gone anyway.
I got it. But
if you're going to try that play, you have to have the right personnel on the field to be able to execute that play. And it's quite evident they didn't. They didn't have it all year round. Now you expect this guy to do this with 12, 13 seconds left?
Here's the thing with that, Jeff. There is no defense in the history of the sport that you would do that play with.
I agree. I agree.
Like, no matter who you have.
I'm saying, though, if you decided to do this, you must have a Revis or somebody big time back there.
Right, Lawrence Taylor rushing. It's so ridiculous. And I think that the reason – I don't think that the play itself would have gotten him fired. I think it's the players turning on him is why he got fired. And I think that's why, as dumb as Gase was, as he should have – this is not the dumbest thing Gase has ever done, not paying attention to a call. He's done plenty of things. We expect this of Gase.
Yeah.
But with Williams, when the players turn on you, it's over. It's over. They had to fire him. The fact that they let Gase fire him, I think is funny, but I guess you have to because he's the head coach.
Yeah, it was his idea. It didn't come down from ownership for the GM. He went to Douglas and the ownership and said, "I want to fire him," and they said, "Go ahead." And
are we surprised? Are we surprised? This is a team that let a GM go through a draft and then fired him right after. Like, are we surprised at that? It's come on.
It's a joke. They did say, I did read after the fact, that Adam Gase does nothing at all with the defensive side of the ball. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like Greg Williams, it was like Adam Gase was an offensive coach and Greg Williams was the defensive coach. He let Greg Williams do everything, call the plays, everything, run the defense.
I think that was part of the deal of hiring.
And look what happened. And didn't Greg Williams have a problem with Gase's father-in-law or some shit like that?
He's on the staff.
I understand it. They're on the staff.
Yeah, Beatty. I
think
Joe Beatty. Joe Beatty was one of the guys that ratted him out in the Saints scandal. But I think what happened was, I think that either the ownership of the GM, well, it had to be the ownership because the GM wasn't there yet. When they hired Williams, I think they made a deal because Williams thinks the world of himself. He's the cockiest guy ever. I don't think he would have went there if the head coach could override him in a lot of situations. And I think, this is like a Remember the Titans scenario where, like, you do offense, I do defense, and they don't cross over. You don't have a say in my defense. I think that was the case. And I think Gase just, isn't the type of guy that's going to take over and.
But then you're not really the head coach of the team. You're the assistant head coach.
Well, Tommy, are we arguing whether Adam Gase is a good coach?
No, we're not. You're right. You're 100% right. I can't even make the argument.
He's less than assistant. Come on.
Here's the thing: as a football guy, you kind of look at that. You're almost embarrassing. Going, here's a guy who's dead man walking in Adam Gase. He's the head coach on paper, at least.
Yeah.
He allows his defensive coordinator not once but twice to
in
run
a row.
Defense, right in a row, to put you in a position to lose a football game that I don't know if you really want to lose the game, you want to win the game, but you let them run the same play twice, embarrass yourselves, and then you allow him to fire the guy.
Yeah, could you imagine any of these head coaches right now watching that play before that, where Aguilar almost catches the ball and not turning around, running to the defensive coordinator and say, "Listen to me, 4 guys in the end zone right now, 5 guys in the end zone."
My point,
that did not happen. Yeah, I know.
If they were won 3 games, 2 or 3 games prior to this, I could see them maybe being a little lax. But here's your chance to win your first game. Since they announced this game that the Raiders and the Jets were playing this week, everybody was saying, "Oh, the Jets could beat the Raiders. Don't be surprised if the Jets beat the Raiders." All week long they were saying it.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, they can't beat them. Please don't let them beat them. They need to get the number 1 pick." And what happens? They almost win.
I was happy. Yeah, I was happy.
And in the long run, yeah.
Let me ask you guys. So there's 4 games left. I'm gonna tell you the 4 games. I don't think there's a winnable game for the Jets along the way.
No.
Okay. But let's run through it real fast.
I know they are. There's not.
Yeah. So Jeff, I'll enlighten Jeff.
Go ahead.
You got this week, Jeff. They're going out to Seattle to play the Seahawks. I'm assuming they, even as bad as Seattle looked last week, the Jets have no chance in this game.
Dude, I hope fucking Adams has a fucking
Adams is going to have 4 sacks. Adams is going to go sack Gase.
He might be the most unlikable player in the league, though. I have to tell you, I just don't like the guy.
He's doing his best to get there. I'll tell you that much.
He's just. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Post article about him. I think it was today, and it just shows like his own teammates don't like him. He's just one of those guys who rubs everybody the wrong way.
He's a diva. He's absolutely diva.
I'm going to give Joe Douglas a little bit of credit here before we move to the next game. Joe Douglas, at the end of the day, should have gotten the executive of the year this year for that trade by itself to get 3 picks, 2 number ones for a guy who has not was never really an impactful position player. He's a great player. Don't get me wrong. He can play the position, but his position is not the most impactful position in the field anymore.
Oh, I disagree with that.
No, if he's a corner, if he's a defensive lineman, an edge rusher, I'm almost buying it. But listen, you got a treasure trove from a guy who's a really good player coming off a really bad team who has made no difference in the 31st ranked defense in football.
I don't agree with any of that.
But okay.
First of all, I think that at times, if you have a player like him, is the most valuable player on the defense. You look at Palomalu, you look at Ed Reed. If you have that,
I got you. He's defense, not Ed Reed.
The strong safety, he's at 3 years in the league. The strong safety is the most valuable player on a team at most.
Mike, he's got. I think he's got 2 career interceptions. He's bad in coverage.
He's going to set the record for sacks as strong safety.
I got you. But he's a safety that if I wanted to make him a linebacker, I want a safety, not plays, but I want to make him plays in pass coverage too.
Look at your guy, Jabril Peppers. Could be the most impactful player on your defense. The strong safety could play the run and play the pass. I disagree that it's not.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Then why? And so far in his time in the league. And he's on an 8-3 team. Has he had been a defense that's been no impact? He was on a bad defense with the Jets, and now he's in Seattle.
Hold on. The Jets weren't a bad defense.
Every Jet team
were a really good defense last year.
Again, how many games did they win?
Well, hold on. That's 2 different things, Tommy. They have the worst offense in the league, and one player doesn't win games.
I got you.
He's the best safety in the league right now. Absolutely. The best safety.
I'd have to think about that one.
You got probably the second best safety.
I love the way
Logan Ryan or Peppers are also good.
Yeah, I think Logan Ryan is a good player, really good player. He's done a great job. The Giants. All right, let's go to the next one. Jeff, then we got the Rams at the Rams. So I can't see a way. Cleveland may be playing some of the best football out there in right now. I'm not a huge fan of Cleveland, but they're playing good football.
What week are they playing Cleveland?
Week 16, second to last game of the season.
Let me ask you this: if Cleveland has a playoff spot wrapped up by that time, does Cleveland rest players?
No,
I don't see it because I think it's positioning at that point. They're so close everywhere, Jeff. I don't see it.
Well, they're only going to get a wild card, Cleveland. I highly doubt they're going to get the division. So if they're in as a wild card,
hold on.
Why fucking take a hurt?
Are you sure they're not going to get the division?
They're 8-3.
Yeah, 2 games now behind 2 or 3 games. 3 games.
3 games with 4 to play?
No, 2 games.
No, right? They're 9-3. They're 9-3.
9-3. So they're 2 games with 4 to play, and Pittsburgh has looked awful, and they got a head-to-head game.
Yeah, again, it's not impossible. So
here's what I'll say about Cleveland. Cleveland could probably rest everyone. In Cleveland's worst years, besides the 0-16, they own the Jets. They own the Jets. They beat them last year. They beat them 2 years ago. Baker Mayfield's first game. Yep. They own the Jets. So I don't think that's going to
be. Here's the one game where I'll give the Jets a half a chance.
No shot.
I got you, Mike. I got it. I got you. And I know that Belichick's going to want to do nothing more than put the nail in the coffin. But at New England is terrible, except that they win.
Let me tell you something. New England is going to make the playoffs and make noise. New England is going to make – he has done the best job he's ever –
No, I agree with that. That I agree with. He's taking absolutely nothing.
QB is throwing under 100 yards, and they're winning games.
I agree with you. Belichick's best coaching job in a long time, and that's not a knock on him. He's got nothing – I mean, you're right. Cam Newton is just horrendous, and he is taking that team – special teams, defense, and a little bit of offense, Jeff, and he sprinkled a little fairy dust on it, Jeff, and he's going up there. But Jeff, any one of those 4 games you could see the Jets stealing?
No.
Yeah, me either.
No, I don't think that Belichick is going to, even like people saying that Belichick may let the Jets win so they don't get the number 1 pick.
That would be funny.
I don't see that at all.
No, I don't either.
The only game that they might have a remote chance in, I know, Mike, you said about the Browns, but if the Browns decide to rest anybody, if they're in a position where they know they're not going to move up or down and they just want to rest some people, maybe they have a chance against the Browns. But even that, I doubt. I think this is a team in flux now. How the defense turned on the coaches, I think the offensive side is going to do the same to Gase before the end of the season.
Honestly, I think that if they have a shot, it's this week. If they have a shot, it's this week because they showed it with the Chargers, they showed it with the Raiders. If you have a terrible defense, they can move the ball. So I could see them if they are going to win a game. I think it's going to be this week, like a 31-28 game, something like that, something like we saw last week with Vegas. But I don't think there's any shot. But if they have a shot, this is the only defense because the Browns have a good defense, and their offensive line is just going to push the Jets all over the place.
Yeah, the only thing I could see, like with the Rams or even with Cleveland, is the dreaded trap game. The 1 week you kind of look past, like Seattle. I think Seattle. See, now I want to say Seattle looked past the Giants to the Jets, but it's impossible. So the trap games just aren't there. But that's the only way I could see the Jets sneaking a win out of these games. So listen. Hopefully, they wind up with the number 1 pick. They draft Trevor Lawrence. They can bring in a good coach, and we get some good football out of the Green Machine.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
because me and Tommy have talked about this, and I haven't got to talk to you about it at all. Right. In a long time. Trevor Lawrence and the Jets. Earlier on in the season, Trevor Lawrence alluded to the fact he may not come out for the draft. If indeed Trevor Lawrence comes out in the draft, he knows he's getting drafted by the Jets. Do you think that he's going to be 110% in as a New York Jet? Do you think he's coming out knowing I'm going to get drafted by the Jets? This is where I want to go. This is where I want to play type of thing?
Yeah, his leverage will be not going into the draft because once he enters the draft, then he will give up all his leverage.
Yeah,
you've had quarterbacks in the past like Eli, like Elway. They had no eligibility, so they had to go into the draft and then play that card. Now, if he goes into the draft, and he's going to. There's no way he's going to go back. He's going to go into a situation. You got to remember this too. The Jets are going to bring in a new head coach, a new regime. You're going to have hopefully one that could cultivate a young quarterback. Although we thought that about Gase, but he's not going to go into First of all, the number 1 pick almost never goes into a situation that's not totally fucked.
Of course.
Right? Always. That's why you're the number 1 pick. I think just a lot of people, Carl, are just saying like, he's going to stay out, or just to nudge the Jets.
Nah,
He said it earlier in the season is we'll have to make that decision at the end of the year. That's
if he tries to pull an Eli where he says, I'm not going to play for you and force the Jets to trade him to another team, I don't see it happening. And again, to me, this year and next year, you're still playing for the worst team. What's the difference?
There's a difference, though, Tom.
What?
There's a difference between playing for the worst team and playing for the Jets. The Jets have done nothing to help themselves in God knows how many years. They switch coaches every 2 or 3 seasons. They fucked up Sam Darnold. A lot of things. You can go on and on and on.
That's almost every team that gets in that situation. The Browns were bad for how long? The Saints, you remember. How long were the Saints bad for?
Yeah, Jacksonville. How long was Jacksonville's not much better. They keep adding number 1 picks every year.
understand that, but you know what? If he says that he ain't coming out of the draft and he knows that he's either going to New York Jets or Jacksonville, that's a win-win for him if you think about it.
No,
I understand what you're saying, that you're going to go to the worst team possible, but the Jets are the worst team possible. Next year, if they win 3 games, you're going to be like, this is an incredible turnaround from the year before.
Think about what you're saying. They could have the first pick next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very true. Very true.
If he doesn't come, they could have the first pick. I don't think that he's going to, especially with all the bullshit that went on this year. Does he even know that there's going to be a season next year? I don't think he's going to risk injury. I don't think he's going to risk anything. A lot of times,
if it was a regular year, if it was a regular season this year, if college football was regular, there's a chance he could stay. I believe there's a half a chance. But to be honest, after the year he played, he didn't play for 5 weeks. To me, there's no doubt in my mind he's going pro. The only question in my mind, does he try to make a power move? I don't see it. I don't think that happens.
His power move would be staying.
Well, correct. But Mike, and then what's to say the Jets aren't number one next year, like you said?
Well, then you do that.
You know what I'm saying?
You do that. You don't come out and then make that move.
Well, listen, Elway did it. Eli did it. You once you declare, which I think you have to declare in February, that you're coming out or not. So and that's
he can't go back. If he signs an agent, he can't go back.
Correct. So to me, once you say you've done it, your only move is to say, hey, if you draft me, I'm not going to play for you this year. Yeah, that's the only move, and then hope they trade you. But who knows? Well, he's coming out.
But let me ask you something. Even if that happened,
okay.
Other than getting a boatload of picks, they still need a quarterback. Sam Darnold, if they get the number one pick, they may try to trade Darnold before the draft. No, that even if you draft this kid, Lawrence, and he says, "I don't want to play for you." What are you going to do about quarterback? Where are you going to get? Who are you going to get?
You got to keep Darnold then. But here's what's going to happen. They're going to get rid of Darnold. If they get the number one pick, they're going to get rid of Darnold before the draft. He's going to be gone.
Well, listen, theoretically, they could. If Trevor Lawrence turned around and said, guys, I don't care what you do. I'm not playing for you. I'll sit out the year. I don't know. What's the rule, Mike or Jeff? I don't know. What if a guy sits out the entire year? Does the team still own his rights?
No, he goes back in the draft.
He goes back into the draft?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because that was what was happening with Elway. Right? He was
going to go almost 40 years ago, though.
Yeah,
I think he goes back into the draft. I think they only get him for the 1 year.
Well, let's go by the premise. He could threaten that, and then look what the Giants and the Chargers did back in the day. They said, "Okay, you draft this quarterback, we'll give you him, and you give us back this other quarterback." Even the Jets could wind up with Justin Fields, who I'm not overly excited about. I don't get excited about Ohio State quarterbacks. They almost never turn around and play well in the pros.
Right. Again, no quarterback comes in and plays well for the Jets. So
I get it, but if you were the Jets, it would be a travesty if Trevor Lawrence came out and refused to play for you.
Think about what you're saying, though. I mean, this is like, is it worth it to him? He would have to sit out a whole year just to not play with this one team, who he'd only be with them for 4 years anyway. If he get out of.
Think about it. If, let's say, he wanted to, I don't know what team he wanted to play. Let's say the Cowboys wound up with the 6th pick in the draft, and he comes out and says, I don't want to play for the Jets. I want you to trade me to the Cowboys. Is it possible? Would the Cowboys run to that? I think they would. So it's not impossible. I don't think it's going to happen, but obviously it's happened before.
Who was the GM for the Giants? He was actually the GM that drafted Elway. Was it Accorsi?
No, the one who the Giants never drafted Elway.
No. Ernie Accorsi was their GM, right?
When they drafted Manning, yes.
No, Ernie Accorsi drafted Elway for the Colts.
Oh, for the Colts, I apologize. Yes, for the Colts, yes.
He drafted him, and he did not. The owner overrode him. He was not going to trade Elway.
Well, no, but Elway had another out, though. Remember, Elway wasn't going to not play baseball. He was going to play baseball.
He was in spring training, and of course, he said, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trading you. And then the owner came in and traded him.
Correct. So, it's again, no scenarios off the table in 2020, and nothing's off the table with the Jets. It's possible that they could draft him and then wind up trading him to another team for a quarterback and a boatload of picks.
But let me ask you, what do? Trade him to fucking Pittsburgh for Roethlisberger and a couple number ones later on?
Yeah, I don't have that. No, I think you draft another. You tell the other team draft a quarterback and give me next year's number one.
At that point in time.
Every year this happens when you have a really, really bad team. They say that. They said that about Burrow last year. That he don't want to go to Cincinnati. His father was talking him out of it. They said that about Stafford when the 0-16 Lions were drafted him. They always say that.
Yeah, it's so rare that it ever gets. It's so rare that it ever happens, and it's successful for the player. It's very rare because
actually, the 2 times that I could think of that it happened, it was successful for the player. But
correct. But I'm saying is when the player makes the power move, that it actually turns out to be successful. That he gets what he wants. It doesn't happen all the time.
No.
Yes, so Elway had a great career. Manning had a great career. Both teams wound up, with the Giants and the Chargers wound up. With good quarterbacks and had success with both of them. So It's possible, but let Mike real quick. The show's been off for a couple weeks. Are you back next week? Is there? Christmas is coming.
Christmas special next week. Yeah.
So what's on tap? Is it end of the season stuff for football? Are you gearing up for baseball? What's going on?
No, we've really been focusing on football because I got so tired of all the other sports. I have no stomach for the NBA. I don't even want to think about the NBA.
Yeah,
hockey I am getting excited about, but it's all football. It's going to be football. It's going to be end of the year. There's not a lot to go through this year besides the chaos.
It's true.
Just nothing. You didn't have an basketball March Madness champion. You crowned an NBA champion that no one even cared about. Like baseball was a 60-game season, so there's not a lot to look back on. It's really going to be more looking forward to what's going to happen next year with these leagues.
Yeah.
What kind of schedule are we going to see for basketball? Because they still haven't really ironed everything out for basketball, hockey. I'm getting Islander season tickets because the arena's right by me. Sorry. So I'm talking to the ticket person, and the season that I'm buying for starts a month ago. It would have been a year.
Sure.
There's still a season to get through in between that.
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like right now, there's going to be a season going on in the NHL, and they're starting another one in between that. It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah, again, it's 2020, folks. Yeah, Hard Rocket Sports here. Jeff Twinski, Tom Flory, and our good friend Mike Passamonte, who Wednesday nights on the Pass the Mike show with Mike Passamonte, Carl Graham, and their his other sidekick,
co-host.
JP. Yeah, JP. So make sure you check them out every Wednesday night. Mike, you 6, 7. What time you guys starting now? 7, right?
We go 7 to 8 now. Yeah.
7 to 8. So make sure you guys check them out. Mike, listen, we love having you on. It's been
great
too long
to see you guys.
Yep, absolutely. We got our other guests coming up. But Mike, good luck, and I'll talk to you before the holidays for sure.
All right, guys. So long.
Best thing, Mike. That's Mike Passamonte. Check them out. Make sure, guys, they do a great job over there. But Jeff, we got to kick off to our next guest coming up. The guy, I know for sure we got Mick Michaels on with us from. Here he is from the band Corners of Sanctuary. And again, let me do the real intro. I kind of hit the button before I wanted to do the intro, but here's the one thing about these guys. I love that they're part of the new wave of traditional heavy metal. They got a ton of stuff going on right now. New albums, Christmas songs, virtual festivals, and we're going to bring out. So we got Mick. Mick, who's with you tonight?
This is our drummer, Mad T.
Hey, Mad T. Welcome to the Hard Rocket Sports Show. I'm Tom. That's Jeff. And thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Absolutely.
No, listen. I got to tell you something. I'm gonna blow a little sunshine up your ass because that's what we do. And I want to preface this, guys, by saying something here. First of all, I have a way. Now, Jeff, he's a miserable bastard. You could tell just by looking at him. He's a miserable guy, right? Who?
I know that look. I see it in the mirror every morning.
Right. So he's miserable. For me, though, no matter what the guest is, I kind of try to always find a way, even if I'm not big fans of the music they're coming on for, or, I kind of find a way to say nice things. I'm going to tell you guys, I apologize, first of all, that I didn't really know your catalog of stuff before John from RFL reached out, and John Marhefka is one of my favorite people. So I automatically said yes before I heard anything you guys were doing. So I apologize. And after I listened to the new album, Heroes Never Die, mm-hmm. I was blown away because I don't know how old you guys are. I couldn't find your bios to kind of get how old you guys are, but your sound is so 80s. It's like Scorpions, hair metal mixed in with a little Judas Priest, and it just blew me away. And I got to ask, how old are you guys? And tell me how you wound up with that sound. Mick, I'll let you go first since you were the top dog on the bill tonight, man. T, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm 50. Frankie, our singer, he's 50. James, he's 49. Mad T's the baby at 25. So that was our era. We grew up in that era. That's our music. That's our style. That's kind of where all our roots are. And that was the reason for forming this band. We wanted to kind of play the music that we grew up in, right? honor it in that way, but then take it into a modern approach without losing some of the essence of what it used to be. It's a collection of the new wave of British heavy metal, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, things like that, except but as well as the American roots, the American heavy metal at that time, like Sabotage and Kiss and Queensryche, bands like that. So it's just a collection of what we feel is our roots, played our way. So
outstanding. So, man, T, give us I'm going to give you the chance to give us the bio for the band. Tell us where you guys have been. Tell us how you got your start, how you guys came together, and let's bring our listening audience and our viewing audience into up to how you guys got to this point today.
All right. Well, really, well, at least for me, I came into the band as drummer in 2016, so it's been 4 years. But the majority of it really been with Mick. I mean, he's been doing Corners of Sanctuary along with James since 2011. Yeah, it was 2010. I mean, we're coming up on our 10th anniversary. But actually, in the early years, not a lot of people know this, but I kind of wrote for the band here and there, and that's actually kind of how I got a chance to audition for the band.
He roadied for us. He also helped write some music, but because we knew he was a drummer and he was most familiar with our set, he had actually filled in on some gigs and some touring because our previous drummer often had to take hiatus. For whatever reason, musicians are funny people. They have to take breaks for strange reasons sometimes. I mean, actually, musicians, athletes, they're very similar in terms of their work ethic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the band formed in got official in 2011. We started out as a 3-piece, where our drummer was also our singer, so you could see why when he didn't fill in, there was a problem, right? After the first year or two of playing out, we realized that we were missing something and we were not able to do what we wanted to do live with just 3 people. So we needed a dedicated front person. So we brought Frankie in late 2013. Over the course of the last few years, Frankie's been, for a lack of a better word, in and out because of personal reasons. So we've had some fill-in singers that just been here temporary, some singers that we were hoping that would stay longer that didn't. Frankie always then jumped back in. But, I mean, he's connected to the band either way. The band's been fortunate enough. I mean, we've played throughout the U.S. We've played over in Europe. We were actually in the U.K. when the first travel ban happened in March. We unfortunately had to cut our tour short to get home, but I mean, it's expected. So we've been staying busy, keeping busy.
I see that. Yeah, and we're gonna promote your the couple of things you guys got. A few things going on right now. For the pandemic, you guys are pretty busy. But guys, make sure you go to rflrecords.com, cornersofsanctuary.com. You can check out all the news about the band. Again, new wave of traditional heavy metal. I love it. Love that. And you'll love the band and their stuff. Make sure you go out there on Spotify, Apple. Get the new. First off, you got the new album to deal with. You got. Heroes Never Die out right now. Also, their single, A Wonderful Time of Year, out through Exquisite Noise Records. Make sure you go to Spotify, Apple, check them out. Get that. Love the Christmas stuff, guys. I'm looking through the bio, and you guys have been on the road with bands like Grim Reaper and Ripper Owens, Anvil, Girl School, Saxon, who I see right behind you. Got the Denim and Leather, one of my favorite albums of all time, probably. Jeff, one of our favorite albums and one of our favorite songs, the Hard Rock and Sports Band has done the Princess of the Night. That's before. We have a little band here, the Hard Rock and Sports Band. Jeff's our musical leader as our bass player.
Nice.
So, but so we're with you guys. Like I said, you blew me away with the album. But how has the pandemic, let's see, helped or hurt the band? I've talked to some musicians. who've come on and said, you know what, it's all been bad, but it's forced me to stay home and write. It's forced me to kind of reevaluate the way we do things, recording. Some people obviously have said it's killed them. They can't get out and play and tour. Mick, how has the pandemic affected you guys one way or the other?
Well, I mean, definitely, like, we're a touring band, bringing the music to the people, something that we do, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that. So that that greatly affected us. We've always been a band that wrote a lot of music with or without a pandemic. The pandemic provided us the opportunity to be able to finish the album Heroes Never Die. We had been working on and off the album for 2 years, but touring and other things that we were doing not got in the way, but took precedence, and then we'd get back to the album, and then we'd go back out on the road or whatnot. So this gave us an opportunity to really, like, we were able to take 2 months and just finish the album and then get it, ready to release on RFL. At first, when it hit, we were like, we were bummed out just like everybody else. We weren't sure what we were going to do, especially since we relied so much on touring. We were going to do
LA.
Well, we were going to do a West Coast tour. We were going to do a New England tour this year. Of course, all that is, in the tank, and we were going to go back to the UK in February. We had that whole thing booked out. That's not happening. But what we started to do was, by the end of April, we started looking at, instead of let's focusing on what we've lost or can't do, let's focus on the opportunities that keep presenting themselves. And one was to be able to finish the album. And because we had more time, we were able to write a bunch of stuff and start giving out free music, to help people pass the time with the pandemic. We actually before summer, we released 2 more EPs. One was a digital release and one was a physical release. And then we did some acoustic stuff, and, we did videos. So, I mean, has it been tough? Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that it hasn't. I mean, it's just been, we're ready to go out, and then, we can't, and, stuff like that. But, I don't know. It's been positive, and as the online festival type things are starting to become better produced, so to speak, and more obtainable, we're going to take advantage of it. I mean, it's whatever that new norm is, we're going to try to figure it out. And it seems like the new norm changes every month or so. I mean, we just got word Pennsylvania is going back into a semi-lockdown
for
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just so happens it'll take us past the holiday. We can't gather in groups larger than 10. No eating in restaurants anymore, starting Sunday.
You guys are a Philly band. One of my favorite times. I'm originally from Staten Island. I live in New Jersey now, but my wife and I spent quite a bit of our summer last year hanging out in Philly. We're big fans of hanging out down there. So I'm sorry. I'm sad to see how it's turned out down in there, and things weren't the same this year. Obviously, going to some of the local places that we like to go to. But hopefully, this won't affect everybody. But guys, make sure we're talking with Mick Michaels and Mad T from the band Corners of Sanctuary. They have an album out now called Heroes Never Die on the RFL record label. And also they have a holiday single out through Exquisite Noise Records. Wonderful time of year. I really, guys, people who listen to the show, we're all big fans of the traditional, especially the new album era of music. Some of us even got a little into the hair metal. You will love these guys. Scorpions, I hear the music, I hear the vocals, and it just takes me back to a time. I am truly now a fan. I love RFO Records. John's one of my favorite people in the world, although he's confused with the whole Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giant being fans of both teams. It confuses me, but John, because I love you. But RFO Records has some of the best artists, and these guys fit right in there. And if you're fans of this show, go to cornersofsanctuary.com and follow them. But Mad T, Mick just brought up this online festival. You're doing was it the Wrecking Ball? Is that I'm trying to find my notes here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Wrecking Ball Metal Fest this Saturday. How does that work? Do you guys? How does one find this, and how do you guys perform during this? You guys in the same room, all performing together?
Well, with this one, what we want. Well, first of all, the Wrecking Ball Metal Fest was actually a Corner Sanctuary thing that we've been doing for actually a number of years. So we kind of resurrected for the pandemic thing. Say, hey, we're going to do a online festival deal. So this one, what we're doing, actually, or what we did and what we're going to do, is that we've kind of recorded ourselves already playing, our 30, 40-minute set, and we got other bands to do the same, and we're just going to put them all together in in a live stream, right? Yeah, live stream, and just go from there, and kind of have it as as like a real show, but digital kind of thing,
Yeah, without worried about bandwidth or people dropping out or them losing the feed, because that's what was happening early on. Unfortunately, we played a couple of ones where we were live, and the bandwidth just was horrible. We were all pixelated, or things were or it died out, or people were getting knocked off. So as the systems get better, and people, again, as we're being forced to do new things, the technology, I think, may somewhat getting better.
Yeah.
And they're finding that most promoters now want bands to pre-record whatever they're doing, so they can eliminate that. And as T-San said, Wrecking Ball was something that we had done years ago as part of a charity event once a year that we would do for United Way or cancer research or something like that. And this year we had the opportunity to do it with a larger promotional company, get some bands from different parts of the globe, Costa Rica, Mexico, the UK. So that's kind of cool. And then we have a Rock Addict Radio. They're going to be streaming it live on their website and on their Twitcher page or channel, whatever the hell that is. But so rockaddictradio.com to watch it this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Nice. Guys. Listen. I love it all, and I'm starting. I think we're all starting to get into that. For good, maybe the next year or so, who knows? We may be stuck in this virtual world. But let me ask you this: last summer, people started getting to these drive-in concerts. All these different. Are you guys willing to? To me, it's hard for me to think of going to a metal concert and sitting in my car, because the energy at a metal show. I went to see Kiss a couple of years ago. I've seen Maiden a bunch of times recently. Jeff and I've seen a bunch of bands. We saw Sabbath, and there's nothing like them for me. And I've seen a bunch of artists, Stevie Wonder, but there's not like a metal show for energy. Could you guys see yourself playing to a bunch of cars?
Well, anything's possible.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
I'm not going to say. I wouldn't say. Listen, if we get the opportunity to play, we're going to play. It's an opportunity. I know they're doing it a lot more in Europe than they are here, but it is happening. I don't know as a fan if it's something that I'm going to go to right now. We had some shows booked. Unfortunately, they didn't pan out because the restrictions kept changing. We do know some fans or some bands that have played some shows. Unfortunately, the restrictions are killing that energy, of course.
Well, at least in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, there's nothing happening. You have to go. For us, you'd have to go. At like Maryland, Delaware seems to be having some stuff, but again, it's limited. People can't approach the stage. They've been saying that what you're saying, that there's no energy.
Yeah, I don't know how you sit in the car. Do you beep the horn during the show? And the lights, no more lighters and we're flicking the high beams. It doesn't work for me. And I'm praying that someday, we can go back to doing concerts and having concerts and having being in a room and having that energy from a band. Small venue, large venue, but I guess you have to adapt, like you said. And speaking of adapting, make sure you guys adapt and go to cornersofsanctuary.com, rflrecords.com, and Facebook, and check out this band. I'm telling you guys, these guys are going to bring the noise, as I like to say, and give you the old school metal that I love to listen to. And this album, Heroes Never Die, is a fantastic album. And again, Arthur Records and John are some of my favorite people. John's listening to us right now, so we better act professional because he's the boss down there. So we got to be on our game. But listen, you guys get high praise from John. He's told me privately how great you guys are and how you guys are such a hardworking band. So I'll ask you, the boss is listening. Let's blow a little sunshine. How'd you guys get onto RFL, and what's the experience so far with John and the crew?
Well, the experience so far has been fantastic. I mean, they definitely get our style of music, and they're supportive, and we're appreciative of that. we started the year on another label. We were actually within a contract with another label, and we had the hopes of getting this album out. So when the pandemic hit, we figured, well, we're going to finish the album. We'll contact the label and we'll get it going. By the time we got in touch with the label, now our label at that time was headquartered in Germany, and Germany was rocked pretty hard by the pandemic, and their economy was shook. So they suspended all future releases to some point unknown in the future. So we had a discussion, and we were given the okay and released from our contract so we could get our album out. So within a month, we made some connections. Our mutual contacts got in touch with RFL, and we started talking and discussing what it is that we want to do, what they want to do with us, what where our thoughts are and stuff. And it just went from there. And I mean, we did a 90-day aggressive pre-promotion to get the album out, which is normally unheard of. And so we were appreciative that they even were supportive enough to do that, to believe in us to do that. So it's been going well. I'm very excited about it.
They're absolutely great people down there. Again, I question, they have a couple of people who are, this guy Doug down there, who's a big Cowboy fan, a Cowgirl fan. I don't know say it. I allow it because I love RFO Records, and I love John. He's one of my favorite people that I've met in this business, and a nicer guy and just a man of his word. Has always been behind our show, and we stand behind RFO Records and what you guys are doing. I got a little something of yours up on the screen now. Everybody can kind of take a look at it as we move on here with the guys from Corners of Sanctuary. Make sure you guys check these guys out. They're worth it. They're worth the trouble, guys. Take a listen, take a watch. So, guys, beyond the albums out now, the single, the Christmas single. Let me ask you guys this: you guys put out a Christmas single. It's kind of the new thing for metal bands. Everybody's got their Christmas music, especially Dee Snider. You guys big Christmas guys?
Yeah. We've been doing, actually since the beginning of this band, we've been doing holiday songs. We've done both original and some classic, traditional ones. However, what we do is we take a piece of the traditional one, and then we add our own flavor to it, and then we add a whole instrumental part that's brand new. We actually have December 15th, we have Silent Night coming out. It's just going to be a free download for people, just kind of like an extra stocking stuffer, so to speak.
All right. Well, our Christmas show is next Thursday night, so I'll see if we have permission to play that on the show while during our big Christmas special next Thursday night. So we have some other artists performing, and we'll see if that's if we can get that onto the show. And I ask you if you're Christmas guys because I have the ultimate Christmas question. I asked this to Jeff; he gave me the right answer. I'm going to ask you guys the simple question, but it's one of those questions for the ages. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Guys, this is perplexing to all of society. People have conferences, and is Die Hard a Christmas movie, and what makes Die Hard a Christmas movie, guys?
Well,
come on, man, T. I don't want no smiles, no laughing. I need a serious answer.
I think it is a Christmas movie. There's a Christmas party in it. It's around the silly season. So,
all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, T, you got an opinion? Come on, man, T, give it to us.
It literally is a Christmas movie. It's set within
the holiday season.
Yeah, the holiday season.
So it's a Christmas movie.
There you go. That's the right answer, guys. That's the right answer. And listen, guys, I am thrilled to have you guys on the show. As things progress and things come up, we want to have you guys back. Maybe we'll get to see you guys perform in the near future. But in the meantime, we'll get your stuff on our website. We'll get everything out there being played. And we wish you the best of luck and a great holiday season from all of us here, Jeff, myself, and all of us at Hard Rockin' Sports. We tell everybody please go to cornersofsanctuary.com, go to rforecords.com, and make sure you support this band because they are a true throwback to what we love here at Hard Rockin' Sports, and we ask you guys to support them. So, Mick, Michaels, Matt T, good luck. Please, lots of success, and make sure you guys come back on the Hard Rockin' Sports Show.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
All right, guys. It's Mick Michaels and Matt T from Corners of Sanctuary right here on the Hard Rockin' Sports Show. And we are back, Jeff and myself. We are ready to do battle Jeff has questioned my credibility, folks. He has said he's going to harpoon, I think was the word he used. He was going to damage my credibility. Jeff,
you already did enough of that yourself. There's nothing more that I can do by wearing that silly hat, dressing in blue, and actually standing behind a team that has no business being at first place in any division. Maybe PSAL league. Maybe.
First off, Jeff, huge win for the Giants this week. Well, we're gonna run through everything. We got about an hour left, and I want to run through it. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show, Jeff. It's me and you. Nobody here to buffer you, to hide behind. No,
I've been here waiting all fucking night, man, since 7 o'clock.
Well, here it is, Jeff. Here's your time to shine.
7 o'clock, waiting.
Well, here's your time. The Giants go on the road. And here's what I thought. We talked a few weeks back. I penciled this Giant game in against the Seahawks as a loss. The Giants never play well in Seattle. They were going up there. This is before I knew Daniel Jones was going to be hurt. On the road in Seattle, just a team in Seattle plays well, but one of the better players in the league in Russell Wilson, a guy who's been an MVP candidate all year. And the Giants went up there, Jeff, and not just won, but they smacked them around. They whipped out their Johnson and smacked them in the face with it. 12 points. They scored the Seahawks. The Giants were all over them. I got you. You know, the defense played great. Colt McCoy didn't make any mistakes, and 100-something yards rushing in the second half.
First of all, you don't have to make any mistakes when you're playing the 31st ranked defense in the league.
Agreed.
All you got to do is run the ball and just not turn it over, and you're pretty much guaranteed a win.
Yep.
Okay, so that go on.
No, again, but here's the thing now for me as a Giant fan, looking forward to the next 4 weeks. You know, now I am not overly confident in the next 3 games because
shouldn't be.
No, again, now Arizona's not playing well right now. They lost 3 games in a row. Hopkins is banged up. Kyler Murray is very banged up, bad shoulder, hasn't run the ball at all because probably protecting his shoulder. But a team that's beaten the Giants 2 or 3 years in a row now coming up here. And usually teams traveling across country, have not done well, but I expect the Cardinals to come and play well. They go play the Ravens, who haven't played well at all, but they're still the Ravens, and they have the reigning MVP on their team. And then they have Cleveland, which is now a Sunday night game, national TV. We all know the Giants don't play well. And then they finish up against their dreaded rival, the Cowboys. Jeff, no easy games here. No easy games for the Giant team.
No, basically all the other teams have the easy games.
Well,
I feel.
This is why I try to tend to cut you off, because there's just nothing. There's no meat and potatoes. But I'll say this: it's weird that the Giants are in it. It is not a good look for the league. I'll be honest with you. I'm the first one to say it. I'm not giving it back, but it's a terrible look for the league when you have probably a division winner between the Giants and the Skins, who is probably going to be 7-9. I'm assuming both these teams will probably win 2 of their last 4 games. The Giants may get 2. They could get 3. They could get 1. I have no doubt. But Jeff, for me, this at least for me is a successful season for the Giants. They've gotten better. They've installed this new culture, and they're playing meaningful games in December. That, to me, is a successful season.
Dude, when your team is 5-7 and you're playing in a division that bad that you're in first place, you wouldn't know success if all you had to do was add water to it. Okay? You're just the least bad of the worst teams. That's all there is to it. That's the only reason that you're in the position that you're in.
You're wrong.
They could also lose their next 4 games.
No doubt in my mind. Jeff, there's no doubt in my mind you're right. They could absolutely lose their last 4 games, and it would not surprise me. They're playing 3 decent teams and a division rival. So I agree with you. But if you watch this team like I do every week, what you see is a team that's playing good football. They may not translate to wins, but this is a better team than started the season by far.
I don't know, man. You're just hoping that somebody agrees with you.
Yeah, everybody in the newspaper, everybody on TV have
all biased. All biased.
No bias. You're talking about
biased.
teams like guys like Troy Aikman, who hates the Giants, who's come out and said, listen, this is a team that nobody wants to play right now. Teams don't want to play teams like the Giants right now.
Listen, at this point in time of the season, nobody wants to play a team like the Giants because they're going to have to fall down to a level to play the Giants. They want to play a good team. They want to show that they're ready, that they belong, not beat a has-been. Anybody could do that. I could get a couple friends, get out on the field and give them a run for their money. And you know that.
And that's not the case. And Gettleman, I'll tell you right now,
that guy's got to fucking go.
Gettleman, let me tell you something. I'll go up and down right now that he is not only will he be back, he's getting a 3-year extension, and no doubt in my mind, his moves have all worked. And now, do I want Leonard Williams back next year? Probably not at the money he's going to want. But Leonard Williams has had a great season. He's definitely, absolutely, at least said people are going, I know it's a bad trade, but it's kind of worked out for this year. His drafts, all these guys have stuck around and played. The offensive line has gotten much better. The coaching staff has done a great job this year. Dave Gettleman's going to be back next year and probably for a couple of years to come. This is working. I know you don't think so, but I watch it every week, and this is absolutely, positively 100% working right now. Yeah, listen, you can shake your head.
I'm just amazed that at your age you still believe in things like Santa Claus and the fairy. And the Giants are a good team.
They are a good team. They're not a great team.
Horrible.
They're not a horrible team. They're not even by. I will tell you right now, they're playing.
I can't even use the word horrible with a straight face when talking about the New York Giants.
They're not horrible. Let me ask you this question: have you watched half of any game in the last 4 or 5 weeks
of the Giants?
Yes.
I keep tabs on the Giants simply because I want to make sure that I could throw things at you. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's just another team. Like, you could look at their wins. They beat Washington twice, correct?
Yes.
Okay, one victory they got because Ron Rivera went for 2 points.
Correct.
Instead of what do you call it?
Instead of going for the extra point, kicking the
extra point and trying to get into overtime. So they win a game that way. The second Washington win over Washington
that was 7 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago.
Doesn't matter. It's a win is a win, right? Okay. And didn't something happen? I forget what it was. They won in the final seconds or something.
Well, no, they sacked the quarterback. I forget who. I don't think it was Alex Smith. It was the other guy, Allen, and they recovered the fumble and put the game away.
Yeah. Well, there you go. If the ball control, if they had any,
I'll half agree with you.
3-9.
I'll half agree with you. All right, let me ask you this question: what was wrong with this week's win? They went up to Seattle with their second-string quarterback, who's a lifelong backup, and won. And won convincingly. They won it easy.
I don't know if I'd say they won convincingly, Tom.
Why not? They won. It was very little doubt. I mean, Seattle had the ball with a chance to win. They didn't get close to winning. The Giants dominated the game.
It's not so much that are they worthy, are they winning, this, that, and the other thing. It's simply that it's a team that's 5-7 or whatever it is their record is, and they're going to win a division. It's disgusting, and they don't deserve that playoff spot.
But again, it's the rules of the game today. Seattle for a few years ago went 7-9 and won their division. Again, do I agree with it? I don't. I don't like the fact that bad teams get into the playoffs, but you win your division. What are you supposed to do now? We change the rules in the middle of the season. It is what it is.
You know what? You got to stay straight. That's one thing.
I am.
You've said for years that teams with bad records don't deserve it.
I agree. I'll stand by that.
Then they should not get it. They shouldn't get it.
So they should rewrite the rules at this point in the year and say,
no. What Dave Gettleman, if he was an honest guy, a stand-up guy, would turn around and say, me and the team had a meeting. We feel as though that we don't belong here. We don't deserve this. Let's give it to somebody else that deserves it. Let's give it to somebody with a
that makes sense. That makes a total
sense. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, it's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But again, it's the silliest thing I've ever heard. The Giants are in a division that's bad. They're playing really good football now. They're
not playing good football. They're playing the best of the worst.
No, you're 100% wrong. You're 100 and 100.
What's their record? What's their record?
Doesn't matter what the record is, Jeff.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I'll give you the record. They're 4-4 in their last 4 games. That's the record.
I asked what their record is.
They're 4-4 in the last 4 games.
I don't care about
matters.
that. What is their record for the
5-7.
That's a bad record.
It doesn't matter.
So
is there teams in this league?
If the Jets were 5-7, I would still say that after last year, there's still a bunch of losers at 5-7 instead of 0-12.
I disagree. The Giants started out 1-7, but they were competitive all year. And I've said it from day one. They were playing competitive football, and then now they've learned to win. And they're 4-4. If they run the table the rest of the year, if they run the table and they wind up 9-7, let's say they do. I don't think they will, but if they did and they wind up 9-7, what would you say then?
I'd still say that they're a bad team.
Why? They've won now 8 games in a row and have a winning record. Why would they be a bad team?
Just are.
Okay. So then what you've proven is you have no credibility.
I have plenty of credibility.
You have no credibility on that. So we're going to go up the Giants because you now have proven to the world who's now listening, all the hundreds of people who are actually listening right now.
People, there's 3 of them.
No, that doesn't count. There are hundreds of people listening right now. You have zero credibility.
I got plenty of credibility. At least I admit my team is bad.
My team, and I've admitted in the past when the Giants are bad, and I said
they still are bad. They still are bad.
They're not a bad team. They're not a great team. They're a good team right now.
And if they're not a great team, they're a bad team.
Oh my God, here we go.
Yes.
Again, guys, you can send all the letters in. Jeff has no credibility. He's just proven he's got zero credibility.
Well,
we're going to move on. Good.
If you had a car and it was black, could you say you had a white car?
What does that have to do with any of this?
Just answer the question.
I have no idea what that means. Black car is a black car.
That was painted black. Mm-hmm. You could not turn around and say that I have a white car, could you?
No.
Okay. So you have a team that's 5-7, the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They are a bad team. They're 2 games under 500. They have not won anything in God knows how long. This is a bad team. You cannot say they're a good team.
They're a good team.
No, you can't say it.
I can, because here's why. Things change. You're not, listen, what if you were in a band and for 3 weeks you sucked and in the 4th week it came together? Are you still a bad band or are you a good band now because that you just changed? That's what the Giants season's been. They were a bad team who had a lot of good games but couldn't find ways to win. Now they found ways to win. Again, it could all fall back to losing 4 in a row. It could happen easily. But right this second, 4 in a row, playing the way they are, I think they're the 8th ranked defense in the league. This is a good team. Not a great team.
Let's hope they get knocked off their high horse soon enough.
Right, well, here's the thing. If they don't, watch what I'm coming at you with next week. Boom. Dropping the bomb.
Okay.
See,
I hope you remember.
If they went and win the Super Bowl this year, you would still say it's a bad team.
They're not going to win the fucking Super Bowl.
I didn't say they were. I'm not telling you they're going to. I'm saying is it doesn't matter how well they play this year. You're going to say they're a bad team. Doesn't matter. If they ran the table right now and won out and won the Super Bowl, and there's no chance. Do they think at a home playoff game right now, first round, if the Giants played the way they continue to play and they go 3-1, 2-2, squeak into the playoffs, could they win a home playoff game? Absolutely. There's only a few teams that I would tell you they have no chance against. They played great against the Rams this year and should have won that game. They played good against the Bucs. They should have won that game. So they're not far off, and now they're playing better football. I guarantee you the Bucs do not want to come up here in January, and Tom Brady don't want to see blue in January. So we'll move on because with your zero credibility right now, the fans don't want to listen to what you have to say.
I don't care whether they want to listen or not. The bad thing is that they have to listen to you.
Oh no!
Blow hard, talk about this bad team.
I give them the straight. Look at Louis Peak is right there telling you have the Giants are a good team. He agrees. John Marhefka, a professional, he's telling you the Giants have a good team.
All right, first, let's get to these 2 fucking guys, okay? John Marhefka, all right, listen to me. You're a Steeler fan. They're a fucking Super Bowl contender year in and year out, and all you do is complain about your coach. Stop. Please stop. Louis Pika, okay? He's another one. It's got to stop. He's a Giant fan. He knows no better. It's sad. It's sad.
He knows plenty. He's right there with me on this one. Thank you,
Lou. Of course he is, because these guys are on your payroll.
You're not on my payroll.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. If anybody in the
You're
world,
paying them to say these things, man.
Louis is a diehard Giant fan, and in the middle of this year, the beginning of this year, he was very down on things, and he's the first one to say, "You know what? This team has turned it around. They're playing good football."
Because here he is on your show saying stuff.
First of all, it's our show, and believe me, if Louis disagreed with me, he would disagree.
So now I get to name the show next week.
You can name the show, and you have anytime you want.
I want to name next week's show.
The Giants are a juggernaut right now.
I want to name next week's show.
You can't name next week's show. Next week is the Christmas special. You can't name next week's show.
Okay, so I can name it. I can name half the show.
Okay, if you want to try, go ahead.
Okay. What's the name of the show going to be? What is your half of the name of the show going to be?
It's the 2020 Christmas Hard Rocket Sports Christmas Spectacular.
Okay, and mine is going to be "And the New York Giants Suck."
What if they win?
It doesn't matter if
they win.
They're not gonna.
5 in a row.
Not gonna win. They're gonna lose 35-13 this week.
Okay. I don't see that happening at all. Here's what I'll do. We'll say I hope if I almost don't care if they win this week, and I'll tell you why.
John, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying you don't understand the game. I'm not saying that. What I don't understand is that when your team, year in and year out, is known as an AFC Super Bowl contender, and Mike Tomlin has brought you to the Super Bowl. How many times has he taken the Steelers to the Super Bowl? 3? Twice? And has won once and lost once?
I believe so.
Okay. As a New York Jet fan, I would sell my kidneys to have Mike Tomlin as a New York Jets coach. Who, by the way, Bill Cowher is allegedly interested in the New York Jets coaching position.
I love Bill Cowher, but it's got to be 14 years since he coached in the league. I got to say, I don't think I think it may be done. Now, he would bring legitimacy to the team. Don't get me wrong.
Of course he would.
Would you be excited about that if you were, as a Jet fan, if he was named your coach?
Yes, why not?
Okay, it's interesting because Gibbs did it and came back as a Hall of Famer, and coach didn't have any success. Vermeil did it though, and he came back and did have success. In fact, won a Super Bowl after a long layoff. So it's not unprecedented. I tell you the truth, I wanted when Coughlin retired, I wanted the Giants to bring in Cowher. So that was my hope for which didn't happen, obviously. So, but as a Jet fan, you'd have no qualms with the guy who's been out of the game for 14 years, even though he's been an analyst.
Because he's still part of the game, being that he's an announcer and everything else. And I also think that he would bring an air of seriousness.
I agree with that,
and help structure them. That even if he didn't take this team to the next level, that I think that he would get this team structured to the point where the next guy would have success.
Yeah, I get it. I agree with that. I think here's what I would think. Yes, he'd have the ability to come in and change the culture, maybe turn the team around, and whether he stuck it around for 4 or 5 years, 2 years, whatever. I do. Same thing that kind of like the Parcells thing. Parcells would go in, take a bad team, get them back to a point where they were a good team, and then move on to the next one.
John is now stepping out of line now. The Jets are a bad team, dude. A horrible team. Coaching is horrible. Players are horrible. Everything about the Jets is horrible.
I have to announce something. So I put up a thing. I don't know if you see my comment. It says Lou. Actually, supposed to say Jeff is mentally handicapped.
Well, it does say Lou is mentally handicapped.
Well, here's why. YouTube. We're being viewed right now on Facebook, and on YouTube. Facebook and YouTube are broadcasting, and YouTube has rejected the mentally handicapped comment. It will not be shown on YouTube or shown on YouTube. So
you can't say anything nowadays.
Mentally handicapped did not make it on. But could you imagine? Like, what is wrong with saying somebody's mentally handicapped? I didn't say retarded. I just said mentally handicapped.
You should have went for it all.
You're right. You might as well go for it. But here's it. I would agree. I would think if I were the Jets, here's the problem. I've seen all the people that have been talked about as possible Jet coaches, And it could be the next great coach. I have no idea. But other than Harbaugh, who I'm not sure wants a pro job again, and frankly, if anybody wants him, Jim Harbaugh, there isn't a guy there that I would tell you is a guarantee to be a successful coach. So if you have the opportunity to overthrow some money and show your fan base you give a shit and you mean something, I think the Jets should make an all-out effort to go see if Bill Cowher wants to coach again.
Yeah, you stand nothing in asking the man right now.
But,
you know what I mean? Like you could ask him and be like, listen, what are your, do you have a plan on coaching again? Don't have to say what team. Do you have the desire? Do you have the want to coach again?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he does or doesn't, but I mean, the guy I think still lives in New Jersey.
He just turned 63.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. I mean, it's not like there's coaches in this league much older than him. So to me,
he comes back, I could see him as a 3 to 5 year guy.
100%. And I think if you're the Jets organization, you want to show your fan base you mean something, and that's the guy. I would tell him, name your price. Go put it on a piece of paper and tell me what. I mean, I wouldn't give him what they gave Gruden, 10 years, $100 million, but I would give him 3 years and $30 million, 4 years, $40 million. I'm sorry. You need to get somebody in there who's done it and built something, and that's the guy. I got to tell you, of all the people I've heard his name, if I were the Jets, I would throw the money at him and give him no choice but to come back.
You could try, and it wouldn't hurt, but like I said, is this at 63? Does he want to be bothered? And if he does, what to say? He turns around and says, "I'll do 3 years."
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that he could end up setting the team up more, than having sustained success.
Well, what if it's 3 years coaching and then a couple of years as president of the team, where you don't have that everyday thing? So you keep him around the team, and you let him hire, have a guy in his staff that may be the successor. The Josh McDaniels type guy.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if you get Cowher to come in, okay, it's maybe that would attract other possible replacement coaches for him when he's done. That's what that may do.
Absolutely.
But even at that, if you get the right guys, the right replacement guys, they're not going to wait 2, 3 years, 5 years until Cow is done to take over the Jets.
Agreed.
They may have an opportunity next year. Why are they going to want to? But it could also be a good place to prove yourself too. If you have a coach like Cow, where you come work on his staff, now all of a sudden they get Trevor Lawrence, and he's the 5th ranked quarterback in the league or something.
Mm-hmm.
And you were the quarterback coach or the offensive coordinator, and you're showing what you could do with a young quarterback. Maybe it could springboard somebody. But I think in one hand, I could definitely like to see Cowher, but on the other hand, you would like to see them maybe get a younger guy that's willing to stay here for a number of years and maybe build the team, through the long haul, through the draft.
I agree with you, Jeff. But the problem is, it's a crapshoot. Who's the guy? Like I like Bieniemy, and I think he's done a nice job. But he's got Patrick Mahomes. John brought him up too. He's on the screen. I see it now, and I think Bieniemy's the guy maybe for the Jets if you're going to pick somebody. But he does have, I don't even know if he calls plays in Kansas City. I think Andy Reid's calling plays. But even if you do, you got Patrick Mahomes. It's not like he's in Washington and as the offensive coordinator with Alex Smith and you're scoring 30 points a game, and you go, all right, the guy's got a little something going on here. Eric Bieniemy may be the guy. You're 100% right. Everybody's 100% right. But if I could go get a guy like Cowher who's done it, I think I take the shot first. The Jets can't have another miss.
Well, listen, don't say they can't have another miss, because they miss more often than not.
No, they can. I'm saying is you can easily have another miss. They can't afford another miss.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay,
but once again, this is the New York Jets you're talking about.
Yeah.
Every option is on the table, from Super Bowl winning coach and team to complete failure.
Yeah.
And dismantle everything once again. So you can't deny any which way you could possibly go, because it's the Jets anything could happen. Anything could happen.
I agree.
And I'll tell you one other thing too.
Sure.
Eric Bieniemy may be in a very unique position because he's a coach on the fucking Kansas City Chiefs, and they're having the success that they have.
Right.
He fits the mold of the Rooney Rule for each and every single team.
Sure.
And possibly for next year, filling it again next year too, because people may be on to say that, all right, you're right. He does have Patrick Mahomes. Why do we want to hire him? But yet he is our sacrificial player, so to speak. He'll know he'll be there next year. And maybe when Andy Reid goes and they win and they continue to win, then maybe he gets head coach. But I don't think he's all that young either, Bieniemy, right?
I would say Bieniemy is a little younger than us. I think he's in that range.
I thought he was a little older.
No, I remember watching him in college at Colorado. I would say in the 90s. So let's say he's in 22 years old, 21 years old back in like 90, 91, 92, I think. I'm going to say. So,
he's near our age then.
Yeah, I would say I thought
he was a little older than what we were.
Yeah, no, I believe he's a little younger than us, as a matter of fact. So, but listen, the Jets got to get it right. So, plenty to talk about. Hard Rocket Sports, 347-826-993 and 4 on the radio side. Jeff, Tom, talking sports, talking music. We're going to do this again next week. We have a big holiday special. The Hard Rocket Sports 2020 Christmas Spectacular, and I'm not going on to the rest of it. But we'll be back next Thursday night, 7:00. Talking a lot of Christmas, and I'm going to ask Jeff a Christmas question now. Keep up with the holiday tradition as we started. I see I'm very festive. We lost Jeff; he's gone. I don't know what happened. There he is. He's gone again. But we'll be back next week. Leonard Torselli, our good friend Leonard Anthony, will be doing some songs. And we got Carmine and Jeff's gonna close the show with his big holiday reading. We'll talk about that after the air. Jeff, I want to tell you that I thought about it. We're doing a show next week, obviously Thursday night. The following week is Christmas Eve. I don't know where Jeff is. He's gone again. He's back. Jeff, we keep losing Jeff.
I'm only fucking with you. I'll cover it in camera.
Oh, Jeff, I'm thinking I'd like to do a show Wednesday the 23rd, even if it's an hour or so, kind of, it's in the middle of the playoff time.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be 2 weeks in a row that we're going to lose. We seem to lose that every year. Ever since you started doing the show, Christmas seems to be on a Friday. So for some reason, we lose 2 weeks in a row because of the holiday.
Well, I'd like to do it that day. And I'm thinking, I don't know what your plans on New Year's Eve are. I think I'm off work. I'd like to do I'm almost thinking of doing a New Year's Eve show, even if it's for an hour very early, but we'll either do it Wednesday or maybe we'll do a New Year's Eve show early and get it out of the way. We'll kind of talk about, see what your plans are.
We'll have to wait till we get closer. Yeah. My boss is going to be going in for a surgical procedure. So it turns out that I'm going to be working a lot. And after the last check that I got paid today, after the last time that he was out a lot, Jeff's going to be working.
Gotcha.
I got monster numbers today.
Next week, we're here regular. The following week will probably be Wednesday night, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. It's the 23rd. We'll be here, and then we'll see what we'll do after that. But one way or the other, there'll be a show on New Year's Eve week. I want to close. We're in the middle of playoffs. There's so much going on. But Jeff, speaking of the holiday tradition, I want to ask you a question. Last week, I was asking you about your favorite songs and the songs you hated, movies. We got into that. I want to ask you a simple question. Give me your favorite, or I don't know if it's favorite. Maybe, I want to go favorite. You know what? Give me your favorite Christmas memory growing up.
Oh, wow. Favorite Christmas memory growing up.
Something that you think about when you think of Christmas as a kid, what do you think about?
Oh, there was a couple different ones. I remember my mother and father, because I had my brother,
they
would buy us a lot of the same toys growing up, I guess, so that we could, play with one another and nobody would get aggravated and stuff. So I remember one year that we got, there was the Lone Ranger action figures.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yep.
And we got the Lone Ranger and Tonto. Horses.
Mm-hmm.
We got Johnny West. Do you remember the Johnny West doll?
Johnny West. Wasn't that a cartoon show?
That was Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest, that's it. Okay, I don't remember Johnny West. I do not remember Johnny West.
Johnny West was about a 7-pound hard plastic doll.
Really?
Probably bludgeoned somebody to death with. I got to look it up and see if I can get you. He looked like John Wayne, even, but more serious. And he was completely hard plastic. And we got him all of that stuff one year. So that was pretty cool to wake up and see that. And a couple years we got football, and we got that. A couple years we got I got albums. I remember asking my mother for like a bunch of albums for Christmas. And I got all of them. And then it was like, a great big Christmas surprise. I got the Signals from Rush and Number of the Beast from Iron Maiden and Straight Between the Eyes from Rainbow. And there might have been one other that I got from them when I woke up on Christmas Day morning, and all of this stuff was under the tree. And I was like, oh, nice. It was big to get 3 albums in one blast like that,
Wow, nice.
Yeah. But
nice.
A lot of cool memories as a kid for Christmas,
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, I think this should be an odd Christmas. I know we're trying to have a regular, normal Christmas, but I heard the guys from Corners of Sanctuary saying that Philly's shutting down for 3 weeks right around the holidays. I'm guessing if that happens in Pennsylvania, it's probably going to happen here. Because it seems to kind of
shutting down. What does that mean?
I don't know. He said there's no more indoor dining. There's no more indoor dining at all. I didn't hear too much of it, but basically they're gonna limit the number of people in the same place, and just kind of like the last time. I don't know how deep it'll go, but I will tell you that I will be shocked if the Florio family does not have their usual gathering for Christmas. Too important. Another thing I want to bring up is that, I don't know if you have Me TV on your cable system. We do out here.
I don't know if I do or not. I don't watch that much TV, to be honest with you.
No, I know you don't, but they have they do a lot of classic TV. You can see Happy Days and Gomer Pyle and shows of that ilk. Adam 12. It's a kind of a retro TV station.
It was what was
which one?
The name of that TV? Nick at Night.
Kind of in that vein, but Nick at Night had different has actually moved on, and they don't. I don't even think there is Nick at Night, and they do more of like 2.5 Men, and I'm trying to think the King of Queens. So they don't do real retro stuff anymore.
Classics now from not too long ago.
Yeah, it's true. But I bring it up real quick because Me TV has announced that starting in January of 2021, they will be hosting Saturday morning cartoons again, the classic cartoons.
Okay.
And I thought that was pretty cool. There, I'm just looking real quick. They are going to be having the classics, not the later versions of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Tweety, Roadrunner, Tom and Jerry, Droopy Dog, and so many more. And they'll add them as they go. I'm kind of excited by it. Now I've tried to watch some of the classics, and some of them just. You wonder, like, how'd you watch it as a kid? But you were a kid.
Yeah.
But, I'm not the biggest Bugs Bunny fan in the whole world. But I think it's something that the kids of my kids' generation missed out on, or our kids, because your daughter's the same age as my kids, that they didn't have that Saturday morning cartoon like we did when we were kids.
No, but you know what? They had cartoons on all day long.
Right, but that's why it's not the same as was with us. With us, you had Saturday morning, and that was really, you had other time, but Saturday morning, every kid was home watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Oh, of course. But like I said, at that point in time when we were younger, Saturday morning cartoons, that was it. It was Saturday morning.
Right.
Now, I don't even know, because I don't have a kid of that age that watches that anymore. I'm sure that there's stations all over the place. There used to be Channel 13, there would be Sesame Street and some other
90 seconds.
Other shows are down there, Electric Company,
sure,
Mr. Rogers, and then just to name a few, and then there was Nick Jr. with the stuff that they used to have. The Teletubbies would be on Channel 13, and Barney, and all of these different cartoons, like the Rugrats, SpongeBob. That they had, the kids always had something to watch, because I remember having to actually tell my daughter, like, sorry, you got to go inside. I'm going to watch TV.
Seconds.
As opposed to it. But the cartoons that they played for them sucked.
Yes, I agree. Listen, it was not. I don't know if we were grown up because of it, but I miss those classic Saturday mornings, waking up, 7:00 and watching shows like the Super Friends and Scooby Doo and
the Super Friends. Remember that?
Sure. Well, I still kind of catch them on YouTube. Every once in a while, I throw an episode on when I'm working on the show and just remember how much I loved that kind of stuff. So I just got excited. And then I also want, before we get back to sports and toward the end of the show now, we had Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom. Squiggy died. And the funny thing about Squiggy and what is his name? Is it Michael Landers? Not Michael Landers.
No. I didn't know what his real name was. Wasn't it just Squiggy?
No.
Like even in real life, his name was Squiggy?
Well, on the show, he was Andrew Squigman at Squiggy, but his name was Landers. I can't think of his first name. It's driving me crazy. But it'll come to me. Hey, what's up, PD? But
let's see.
I'm sure. But what I didn't know is beside
David Lander was his real name.
There you go, David Landers. He actually was a baseball scout.
Really?
Yes. Beside being an actor, and remember, if you ever saw the movie The League of Their Own, he was the play-by-play guy during the movie. That you're right, Louis. It's David Lander. He was the one of the part of the famous duo Lenny and the Squigtones. And I'm going to play a little bit of Lenny and the Squigtones, and it matters on this show for a reason, Jeff, because you'll see why immediately once I eventually get it up on the screen and share it, and we'll play a minute or two of Lenny and the Squigtones because I love Lenny and the Squigtones, and see if we can get that on. Come on.
Christmas is a special time for everybody, be they rich or poor, pretty or ugly. So take any. It was Christmas Eve night at the poorhouse, and all of the paupers were there. I stepped in because it was snowing, and snow always screws up my hair. By the pot-bellied stove sat a pot-bellied man. He spoke with some lumps in his throat. His story was sad, and his diction was bad. And here is the song that he wrote. I once was the jolliest fat man.
Again, it wasn't the song I wanted. I wanted to play Star-Crossed, which was a little more of a heavier version. But, of course, it matters because the other half of the Lenny and the Squigtones is Michael McKean, who went on to fame as Derek St. Hubbins, the lead singer, guitar player for the band Spinal Tap, who was a big part of this show. And, I thought we had to recognize Squeaky Jeff on the way out the door.
Yeah, I looked him up real quick, and his name was Andrew Squiggy Squigman. And if according to this, if this is right, he was on Laverne and Shirley for 156 episodes. Laverne and Shirley ran from 1976 to 1983. So I'm not sure if that's 156 episodes for the entire show or if that's how many episodes he was on.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at whatever he was on, Matlock and Happy Days, Highway to Heaven, Simon and Simon, Father Dowling Mysteries, Married with Children, Star Trek, The Next Generation, Head of the Class, A Pup Named Scooby Doo. There was a couple different album things that he was on. Family Matters.
Yeah, listen, the guy was a I'll say character actor. Yeah, never a lead guy. And Goodbye Funny Man. And again, I just thought he kind of between the Spinal Tap thing, being a baseball scout, and he actually had multiple sclerosis. I didn't know that. He's about 10 or 15 years. So I believe that's what he passed away from. And goodbye, funny man, and thank you, Squiggy, for the laughs. So I thought I got to get that in a little bit tonight. But Jeff, let's go around the NFL a little bit. We got 4 weeks. We got 4 weeks left. The last quarter of the season. Lots of open stuff here. We'll skip the Giants and Jets for now. Well, we got to get to the Jets because the Jet division is strange, Jeff. I mean, you got the Buffalo Bills 9-3.
Yeah.
But I think the team that might be the best team in that division might be the Miami Dolphins. They're cruising up now. I'll still take Buffalo. I picked them. I think we both picked them to win the division. Yeah. But the Miami Dolphins are no joke. And, the Patriots at 6-6, this might be Belichick's best coaching job. They won this week 45-0. I'm not sure they scored an offensive touchdown. Maybe they did. But Cam Newton had less than 100 yards passing.
Wow. I didn't pay attention to that, so I didn't even know about that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
this is a team that definitely is pushing Belichick to the limits without Brady.
Yeah.
Listen.
They're not a good team. They're not a terrible team. They're not a good team. They're winning with special teams. They're winning with special teams, which is very hard. Nobody can go into a game thinking their special team's going to win you games. That just kind of happens. But they are playing good defense. But their offense is atrocious, and they could. They're in the hunt at this point, Jeff. As let me see if I bring that up. They are in the hunt. Where is here is playoff picture? They're creeping or they're hanging around, and let's see where it is here. They are on the bubble in the they're number 10 for 7 spots. Only the Colts, Raiders, and Ravens are ahead of them, but they're number 10 for 7 spots.
Right now, they're losing to the Patriots 17-0. Lou Pica says Newton just drew a pick 6, so they might have just fell down a few more rungs down the ladder.
Yeah. So okay. So maybe it's again. I don't have the game on here but again, I still think it comes out to Buffalo and Miami's no joke. Miami's got a chance to make the playoffs, and it's a good division. How do you see it playing out? There are 4 games to play.
I still think that Buffalo is going to win it. I still think that the Jets are going to finish last place, and I don't think that the Patriots have what they once did. I think that next year, I think they're going to be even a worse team than they are this year. I don't see them getting better next year. I just don't see it.
Well, here's the problem with the Patriots, and I think you hit it on earlier with other teams. They're good. They may sneak into the playoffs or be in that thing, and instead of being a bad team and getting a high draft pick, they're going to wind up with 12 or 14 or 15 and probably miss out on one of the better quarterbacks in the draft, which, again, I'm not after Trevor Lawrence. Now, Belichick's got some he's got some picks to play with. He could try to move up in the draft, obviously. So, but I don't see him getting to the number 1 spot. And that's certainly not over the Jets. The Jets will not trade in that.
No, definitely not.
So we'll see what happens. But Buffalo still got the best team in that division. But that Miami team has come a long way, and we'll see how it plays out. Jeff, in the South, Tennessee,
they're 9-3 or 8-4. The Dolphins, right?
8-4.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Here's what I like about the Dolphins. They're a very well coached team.
Something. Do the Dolphins? What do you think they're gonna? I think they're gonna go from 10-6 to 12-4. Evidently, but are they a true 12-4 team if they finish 12-4?
I mean, listen, you finish 12-4, you're 12-4. You know what?
Some of those wins. Don't forget. You didn't have the full year with either one of those 2 guys at quarterback.
Yeah.
So you made the switch at quarterback. Mm-hmm. Maybe you made it at the right time. I don't know. And just last week, I had you bring up about Tua, how he had one bad game and already it seemed like everybody was getting ready to throw the towel in and question if this guy was deserved to be drafted as high as he did. Meanwhile, he didn't even have a full season under his belt. One bad game, and people are starting to question his ability. Which was pretty sick to me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I look past that. To me, this is such a the days of grooming players, the days of having patience in sports is long gone, and I don't understand it. I mean, I think guys get their careers ruined because they're just forced to play before. I mean, Sam Darnold's a perfect example of it. Sometimes it takes years for guys to learn to play the game. And I think these guys, a guy like Tua, would have been nice to see him sit on the bench for a year. I mean, look at Mahomes. I don't know if it benefited him or not, but at least a year on the bench, and then the guy got in there. It at the very least, it's worked. Now, whether it would have worked without that or not, Jeff, I don't know. But I think we're just in a league, and in all leagues, where teams just rush these guys on the field, and I think some guys paid the price. I think Sam Darnold's one of the guys who paid the price.
It depends on what the position is too, Tom. Like a quarterback, they'll say, he has possibly he's going to sit for a year behind so-and-so. We have that luxury. And then game 2, the starter comes out, throws an interception, and then everybody's calling for the new guy. And it's unbelievable because sometimes he goes in, sometimes he don't. Very rarely he doesn't go in.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert was supposed to sit behind Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
Tua was supposed to sit behind Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
So,
perfect example last year. Perfect examples last year. Daniel Jones. He was supposed to sit behind Eli for a year. They come out of the box 2-2, and next thing you know, they're bringing the kid in way before. And listen, he played well. He probably played better last year than he played so far this year. But they rushed him onto the field, and I don't know why. I didn't see the need to do it.
They had
I disagree. I think there was no need to.
They had to only because a couple different reasons. One, you needed to see what he was all about, see if this was the quarterback of the future, which I don't know if he is or not. Nobody knows if he is or not because he hasn't played a full season yet. So that's one thing. Second of all, when you had Eli as your quarterback, you knew time was limited. How much time he had. And I think that they kind of pushed Eli out the door. I think that they kept Eli. I think the only reason that Daniel Jones didn't start last year is because they wanted Eli to bow out gracefully.
I would agree with that, but I also think that,
he didn't take the bait.
No, I agree with you. I think Eli hung on a year or two too much, but I disagree with you, Jeff. If you draft a guy number 1, 6th pick in the draft, he's your quarterback of the future. And I think you do yourself and you do the player an injustice by rushing him onto the field. You don't draft a guy number 6 without thinking that he's your quarterback for the next 3 or 4 years. And to rush him onto the field by your thinking just to see if he's the quarterback, how do you really know? Do you expect him to be Dan Marino and come out of the box now? I think that's poor. If that's really why the Giants put him in, that makes no sense to me.
In the NFL,
I agree.
Things are completely different nowadays.
I agree with you on that.
They were 10, 15 years ago, okay? They need to know because of the first round status, especially the higher the pick, the sooner they got to get out there because they want to know what's going on. It's like having a new toy. Imagine when you were a kid, you got a new toy in it, but your mother wouldn't let you play with it because there was a lot of pieces to it. Now you're in the car all day long, and you just happen to go to the toy store first, to get the toy that you wanted instead of at the end of the trip. So one way or another, you're waiting to play with this toy all day long, and that's what it's got to be for these coaches too. They have to have plans. What they tell us, what the media tells us, and what they tell the players got to be two different things. They got to say, listen, by game 4 or 5, you're going to be in there. This guy's getting old. He's getting tired. He can't run. He can't throw the ball. A couple bad games. Once we know he's done, bang, you're coming in. So you better be ready.
Jeff, I can't argue that, but don't you think there's the big possibility of rushing a guy onto the field and ruin his career? Again, we could point to guys who got out there way too early. Now, maybe look at Tannehill. I'll give you a perfect example. Ryan Tannehill. I'm not a huge fan, but he looked lost in his career in Miami, yet now in Tennessee, he looks like a quarterback.
Well, he looks better without a doubt. Does he look like a quarterback that's going to hoist a Super Bowl trophy up one day? I don't think so.
I don't know. That team again. They're 8-4. They had a terrible loss this week. Terrible loss to the Browns. They were down 41-7, I think, or 14. Came back. They were down 28-7. Came back, lost 41-35. So again, not a terrible team. Probably the best team in that division. Indianapolis is close, but again, Here's a guy that, Jeff, maybe if he sat a couple of years, got a chance to learn the game, beside being rushed into it, maybe you got that product a little sooner than where his career went.
Yeah, but you know what? Listen, anybody could sit on the sidelines and watch and learn that way. You need to get in there. You need to be on the field. You need to be into game speed. You need everything involved with it to really make an assessment of yourself, your career, and which way you're going to be going. You can't turn around and say, well, we have the luxury of giving him actually a second year.
Yeah.
Fucking sidelines. Because think about this, okay? You have your this young draft pick did out 1 year. That's 1 year he didn't play football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now here's your starter, Rodgers from Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come back again and play. So leave this kid on the bench another year. He's still got plenty of time. He just went 2 years without playing. He went 2 years without playing in an NFL game at NFL speed with NFL players by NFL rules, not college rules. Last time he played, he was a fucking junior in college. Now he's entering his third year, and Rodgers is still on the team. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
But now Rodgers is the backup. So now if this kid has a couple rough outings, people are going to be calling for Rodgers because, let's face it, he's a fan darling. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if you just got that guy out there, that kid out there almost immediately, then you have time. By the second or third year, you'll know, okay, this guy's not the answer. We definitely need to move on. Sam Darnold, he's been injured parts of 3 seasons. Okay, it looks horrible. I don't see him changing. I don't see a change of scenery being that much of a difference for him.
For Sam Darnold?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Well, he's going to get the opportunity. I think whether
the opportunity, but he's going to go there as a fucking as a backup.
Listen, he can go to Chicago. I mean, Chicago's going to wipe the slate clean, new coaches and all that. They're not going to have the highest draft pick. I think Sam Darnold may go. Yeah, he may go there as the backup with the chance to play. I think he can go. The Saints are going to be looking for a quarterback next year. There's a few teams, and not everybody's going to be able to draft a quarterback. I think Sam Darnold was overrated to begin with. He had one great game in college, and everybody went wild. He had a great game in the Rose Bowl against Penn State. I watched that game, but otherwise, he was a good quarterback, not great. But again, I think sometimes it's just the luck of where you wind up, Jeff. Some quarterbacks wind up in a place and they're able to grow, and sometimes guys wind up places and it stifles their career.
Yeah, of course. But I don't have a problem with them not rushing the quarterback, especially a quarterback, because of how important the position is.
Yep.
Because you want to see how you've been coming on the show for a year and a half saying Daniel Jones could play. Daniel Jones could play. But his stats doesn't show that he could play. His touchdown passes don't show it. His fumbles and losing fumbles don't show that he could play. But yet here you are every week. You say, oh, he's good. He could play. I like him. He's this, he's that.
Absolutely.
Okay. He's getting valuable time. He's getting time on the field while this team is bad.
Team's not bad. Team's a good team. But we're moving.
I would rather have my young quarterback out there making these mistakes on a 5-7 team instead of a team that's 9-3 at this time of the year.
But again, I'll give you the other thing. What if Daniel Jones didn't make those mistakes? Or they had another quarterback? Maybe this 5-7 team is 7-5 instead.
Maybe, but they would still be 7-5. They'd be better off than they are right now at 5-7.
I don't know. Again, I like Daniel Jones. I think he's the quarterback of the future. I don't know if he's going to be a great quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He may be part of a system like the Giants are working now, and he may get a Super Bowl or get to a Super Bowl with it. I don't know yet. We'll see. But he's the quarterback of the future. Now, is that 10 years? Is he going to do 15 like Eli did? We'll see. But again, we have a tendency to rush things in pro football now and in all sports. Sometimes just guys get out there. But speaking of quarterbacks,
more in football because it's a 16-game season.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you only get so many games to get guys out there. So you're right. It's not 80 games like basketball or 80 games like hockey or 160 like baseball. You only got 16 games, and they're all super important. So I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
Jeff, Carson Wentz, Looks like he's benched this week again in his game, in the Eagles game. I'm not sure who the Eagles are playing this week. Top of my head, I did write it down someplace. I can't find my notes. But Jalen Hurts is going to get the start. Here's a guy who pretty much started from day one, has had some success, was part of a Super Bowl winning team, even though he was hurt for the playoff run. Does that guy need to change the scenery? Is that a guy, or is it basically just everybody's caught up to Carson Wentz, or is it the team around him? What's your feeling in Philadelphia?
I know that they lost a lot of players. Some players opted out because of COVID, and they lost some players.
Yep, a lot of injuries.
It's hard to say. Do you give the guy a second chance and give him a better team? He was an MVP caliber season leading up to the playoffs when he was injured, and that was it for the year. But this time around, I think you're going to see a lot of players kind of get somewhat of a pass due to COVID.
Yes, I agree with that, and I've said that myself. I'm not looking at anybody's stats or how they played or how badly they played because of the way the season has happened. The schedules are crazy, no real off season. So I agree with you to a certain extent. But Jeff, they win the Super Bowl 2 years ago, or three years ago, and they have not had much success since. At what point does is it too early to change coaches and quarterbacks? Can you change the quarterback and not the coach? Can you are they a match set at this point?
I don't know, man. I think if the coach couldn't get anything out of him, it's time to move on from both of them. If that's the case,
can you keep Peterson as coach and then bring another quarterback in and give him the opportunity to?
I don't think that's unless it's one that's already on the roster. I don't think that's going to happen because they won the Super Bowl a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were trending towards a big season, and when Foles got hurt, I believe, right? Was Foles or was it?
No, it was Foles.
Foles got hurt a second time.
Wentz got hurt, then they split with Foles, and Foles got hurt. Yeah,
the playoffs.
Yep.
So, but unless it was Foles, maybe the fan base has had it with him. I don't know. We don't follow the Eagles anyway, so we don't know for sure. But you would have to assume that no, he's not going to be around to be part of that.
Yeah, no. They're going. I think your theory. They're going this week with Jalen Hurts. He was their second round pick last year. I like Jalen Hurts in college, but I don't think his game transcends to the pro level. I just don't. I think they have to kind of play him to see if they know what they have in Wentz, and I think Wentz has just got a confidence problem right now, and there's got to be a team around him. But they need to see what they have in Wentz, in Hurts. Because they got to make a decision in the offseason. Do they go with Hurts and keep Wentz as a backup? Do they go into camp next year with two guys and see who plays best? Or do they jettison both and start from scratch? So I think this is they got the Saints this week at home, the Eagles. I'll be rooting for the Saints to put the Eagles away. But, I think Carson Wentz is kind of just a victim of a bad organization has not put the team around him to make him successful, and he has not played well.
Like I said, too, you really can't go by this year that much because teams weren't able to get players in and interview them and talk to them.
Yeah,
there was no preseason. There was people that opted out. All of a sudden, you got a lot of players that opted out of what they were supposed to do. So, it was a rough season for a lot of different teams, and I don't like to use it as an excuse, but in this case, it's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Teams, different sports, what they went through, it affected everybody in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, no, listen, I agree with you. I think this is an odd season, and it's going to end up an odd way. They're finding their way through it. I got to tell you one thing, though. I kind of been liking the Tuesday night game, the doubleheader on Monday nights. I like that early game on Monday night. I get to watch the whole thing. They're not having been the greatest football games in the whole world, but it's kind of been pretty. It's been different. I heard some rumors that there might be a Monday night playoff game, which I think would be pretty cool to see. Yeah, I've heard that there's the possibility of a Monday Night Football game in the playoffs. So it's been an interesting year. It's a trying year, but I think the NFL will get there. Although the way things are going now, Jeff, do they hit the pause button and let this kind of 2-week happen, because they get a lot of positives out there.
Well, here's a scary thing: the Baltimore Ravens had allegedly four different strains of the coronavirus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 different strains. How's that?
Wow, that's crazy. That's I didn't know there were 4 different strains.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy. Listen, let's hope they get through with the playoffs around the corner. Listen, I'll bring up the playoff picture so you can see it real quick. I know we're going to end the show in a few minutes, but I do want to bring in the playoff picture, if you don't mind. Where is the standings and playoff picture? And let's get that up on the screen for Jeff and me. Hard to see. Jeff, who's the best team in the NFC right now?
I'd have to say either the Saints, maybe the Packers, Rams.
Yeah, again, hard to argue. It seems like the Bucs have kind of petered out a little bit, so to speak. The Bears are now 5-7. Jeff, the Bears at one point were 5-1.
Yeah, they're a bad team.
Yeah, it's funny, teams like the Lions are still there are 16 teams still in the playoff hunt at this point in time.
Yeah, but when it comes to the NFC East team, the Eagles and the Cowboys, the bottom of the list right there, they would have to win the division. They're not going to get in.
Correct, but they're technically still in it. So that's how weird this season is.
Same thing with the Falcons, too. Falcons and Panthers would probably have to win their divisions.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree. Now, in the AFC, Jeff, I think it's more clear-cut. I think the Chiefs are the best team. The Steelers are on paper a top team. I don't like the way they played the last 3 or 4 weeks, but easily, after that, the Browns are playing good football now. The Dolphins are playing good football now. I think the better conference right now is the AFC.
It's hard to disagree with that. Yeah.
I think
disagree with that. I don't think there's a solid team in the NFC. I think that's what the problem is, especially when you look at the NFC East. I think the overall NFC East brings down the entire NFC, because you're going to be like, well, I have a division that is going to be a sub-500, possibly a sub-500 finisher and the top spot.
Yeah. No, listen, listen, I'm looking forward to getting to the playoffs. Like I said, Jeff, here's the Giants get the Cardinals this week, then the Ravens, the Browns on Sunday night, and then the Cowboys. I'm going to give you the Redskins, because I can't good conscience give you the schedule for the Eagles or the Cowboys, because I don't think either one have a chance at this point. But I'll say the Redskins have a chance. So, right? Would you agree with that? Those teams are probably long done and out of it.
I think they're out.
So let me give you Washington this week. They get the 49ers in Arizona, because San Francisco's not playing their games in Arizona.
I think that's winnable for Washington.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that, because right now, I don't think the 49ers are a very good team. Let's see. That's week 14. Week 15. Let's go to week 15 real quick. So I will get off the air, but I wanted to go through their schedule with you. On week 15, the Seahawks go to Washington.
The Jets almost beat them. The Giants beat them. I'm sorry. The Jets are going to get pounded by them this week. But Washington, I think every week they play, they seem to get a little bit stronger, a little bit more confident. So I would say that's a possible win for Washington. I still think that the Seahawks are going to win the game, but I think as the season goes on, there's more and more of a chance for Washington to win that game.
Okay. Yeah. And after that, they go to their home against the Panthers. which is kind of a rivalry with being Ron Rivera's old team.
Yeah, and I think that they'll win.
Okay, so let's say right now they're 2-1, going out to the last week of the season. I think that's an Eagle game. There should be all division games to end the season. So Washington's at the Eagles. So, I think that's a winnable game, obviously, for Washington at this point. So there's a real chance that the Redskins could go 3-1, Jeff, and that would force the Giants to go at least 3-1. The Giants would finish at 3-1. The Giants would have the tiebreaker for beating them twice. But to me, the Giants easily could go 1-3 or 2-2. If I was picking it, I would say the Giants are 2-2 to finish the season.
Oh, I don't think so personally. I think I could see them maybe 1-3 at the best, but we'll find out. It's going to be 1 week at a time for the Giants.
Yeah. I think it's a fun time. So right now, listen, guys, Hard Rocket Sports 347-826-993 and 4. Jeff and Tom, we're going to get to too much baseball. Nothing's really happened. Nobody's made any big moves. I don't expect it to happen before. Although a lot of teams like to do things right at Christmas time. I do think that G.J. LeMahieu winds up back with the Yankees. And then I think the Mets will make a big splash somewhere in the near future to kind of excite the fan base for season ticket sales. But plenty to get to when we come back next week. There'll be a lot of football next week, but a lot of Christmas, Jeff. Are you ready for your big performance?
Yeah, and was under the impression I was going to be doing the night before Christmas. We're going to have to
and you certainly are doing the traditional version of that to close the show. As far as I'm concerned, unless you wanted to do the Linus Penis version, which I didn't really want. I wanted you to close it with the real. Carmine will be doing, if he does that, and again, I haven't heard from what he's doing yet, he will be doing a X-rated version defaming Yankee and Giant fans.
Well, I wasn't going to be defaming. Well, I was, but it just pretty much everybody, not just one.
Oh, so I thought you were doing a traditional version. You're doing a mock version.
No, I wanted to make my own up.
Oh, so then by all means.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I'll press comment and do something different. No problem.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes this week. I'll give you some time.
Yeah, let me know you're ready. Let me know you're going to be ready. And obviously, I want to, whatever you're going to do, we'll close the show. That will be the way we end our holiday spectacular. But
by the way, speaking of holiday spectacular,
yep.
We got, the Hard Rock and Sports desktop tree.
With the flickering candle?
Yeah, the flickering candle with Charlie Brown hanging on it.
Nice. Love
Peanuts Christmas scene there.
Now, have you watched much in the way? I know you're not a big TV guy, but have you watched any of the? There's been tons of holiday movies and classics on. Have you watched much so far?
I've been trying to tape them more, and this week has been a busy week. I had band practice one night, and then
thank you for using
a couple other things that were going on. But I watched. What was it? A Year Without a Santa Claus, or Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Okay, good one. Another good one.
Year Without a Santa Claus is going to be ready to get taped, I think, for tomorrow.
Yep.
And Charlie Brown is coming on. I got to set the DVD off for that one. So the only one that I missed so far was Frosty the Snowman, but that one may be back on later on. And another favorite of mine is a one that's not seen very often,
which is
Mr. Magoo's Christmas special.
I forgot about that one. That's actually a very good one. I forgot about that one. That is a very good one.
That one.
I'll tell you what I saw this week, which I haven't seen since I was a kid, and it's Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey.
Yes, I remember that one. I was not a fan.
Me either. It was very sad to watch. I have to be honest with you. Now, Nestor does deliver Mary and baby Jesus to the manger for birth, so he does a great job. But stepping all over his ears along the way, it's kind of a sad, very sad version. But I haven't seen that. It's got to be well over 30 years.
Well, it's one of those that kind of slip through the cracks every year.
Yes, but it was
somewhere that this is a person's favorite of all time. You don't know.
It's the truth. I did tape a bunch of them. One of my favorites is "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Have you ever watched that one with the clock and the mice.
Yeah, of course, man.
One of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites.
I've lost track of that one.
It's on AMC. Seems to be the channel this year. Every so many days they play a whole bunch in a row. They're sticking in the Rudolph and Frosty Shiny New Year, Rudolph Shiny New Year, which I don't like any of those. I like the traditional ones. I do have all of them on, and one night, probably this weekend when it's quiet, I will sit down and watch them all in a row, and I'll keep them on my DVR well into the holiday season, which we are, and we'll continue to celebrate.
I keep them, period. I'm kind of pissed off that I didn't get the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
All right.
But it is what it is. But Tom, I have to step away. It's that time real quick. I got to step away once. I'll be right back.
So go ahead, Jeff. Go do your thing. So again, guys, next Thursday night, Hard Rocket Sports will be back. Jeff and Tom, 7 to 10, with our Christmas spectacular. We'll talk. We'll do a lot of Christmas stuff. Again, the doctor will be on. Jeff's going to be doing a little something. We might have the boys from Pressure. I'm not sure yet. Lenny Torselli is going to stop in, and he'll do some songs, and we'll talk a little baseball with Lenny. And we'll just make this a Christmas-themed adventure. We love the holidays here at Hard Rocket Sports. And, make sure you come on back and you check us out that week. And, of course, right back after that, December 23rd, we'll be on the air for an hour or so to try to get a show in. New Year's Christmas Eve is a Thursday, so there will be no Hard Rocket Sports show that night. But, guys, lots to still talk about, but we're going to end the show when Jeff comes back. I do want to ask him one quick question, so we'll get one more in and then we'll end it. But we got some guests coming up after the new year. Nothing to announce yet, and we'll talk a lot of baseball coming up. NFL playoffs. I can't get excited about basketball, college football. Just all over the map this year. No Michigan, Ohio State football this year because of COVID. And Michigan, this might be the end run for Jim Harbaugh, who may wind up as a Jets coach. I mean, another guy that the Jets should think hard about. But
it's possible.
I want to ask you, Jeff, do you have a favorite TV show Christmas episode?
No.
Now I have one. It's The Odd Couple. They do their version of Scrooge. Oscar Madison is Scrooge. It's one of my favorite all-time holiday episodes.
I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah. So that's, to me, is my favorite. Do you have one that sticks out, like from a show you grew up watching?
No, I don't. Unfortunately, no, I don't. That one, I vaguely remember that one. I would like to see that one again, if possible, maybe on YouTube.
Oh, you can, and they have it coming up. It'll be on. It pops up on TV if you set it up on your DVR and you pop an Odd Couple, and then you'll hit the record button. Anytime an Odd Couple episode pops up, it'll show up on your DVR. I do that, and that's how I caught it. But Ebenezer Madison is the name of the character.
Yes.
Ebenezer Madison.
Ebenezer Madison, yes.
One of my favorite, and Al Molinaro. Do you know who Al Molinaro is?
Al.
Yes.
Murray Goldstein, I think.
Yes, he's Murray Goldstein. He plays Tiny Tim. It was funny as hell.
Oh,
still one of my favorites.
Wow.
Still one of my favorites.
If it's getting to the point in our lives, when you look back and you realize that you may remember a show that was on for 50 years.
Yeah.
It's possible that maybe you don't remember everything that happened, but you remember watching it when you were a kid, maybe watching it with some older relatives, grandparents, or your mother and father, and they would be like, "Oh, this is a great show," and I remember when Christmas shows were like this, and now there is no Christmas shows, not like there once was.
No, I don't know if that's the case. I agree with you, though. I do agree with you. But here's the thing I always say was, back then there was so little options. Like you didn't have video games back in our pre-teen years. I know that in our teen years they came out with some. You started to get the Nintendos and Segas a little bit, but in those late 70s, early 80s, there were no options. We had 3 TV channels. Yeah, there was no VCRs yet till 82, 83, whatever it was. That when shows like that came on, you had nothing else to do. You watched them. So I think there may have been other stuff later on or even now, but there's so many other options that you just don't see it.
Well, it was the variety shows.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, all of these, maybe a Barbara Streisand Christmas special or something, or Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
All of the Perry Como. They all had a Christmas show.
Martin, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and I remember watching them be like, "Oh, look at this! This is great! This is great!"
Yeah.
You know, when was the last good version of a Christmas song that came out?
Wow.
Like nowadays, you get Mariah Carey puts out like she don't put anything else out. It seems other than Christmas shows.
It's true, but I in all fairness, she's one of the few new ones that I actually, she does classics. She hasn't invented a new song, but she's
got a couple new ones of her own. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard them, but her done what she does. Some of the Christmas classics. She actually does a nice job with them. There's a few I like, but I haven't heard a new Christmas song that I would say is wow. That's a really cool song.
Yeah. Neither have I.
Yeah.
I guess it's just. Yeah. I don't know. Do people have time for it? Do people pay attention to it?
No.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
That's the thing.
I'm in the car an hour and change each way every day. And I have to tell you, the last 3 days, Jeff, I'm flying home. Like I'm leaving work 4:30, 5 o'clock. I'm in my door at 6. I mean, like days like this time of the year, I'm flying through to the Holland Tunnel. I don't get it. Maybe it's because COVID and a lot of people are home right now. I have no idea. But boy, and I'll probably jinxing myself for tomorrow. But man, my travel has been incredible the last week. Oh my God, it's been
good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I left today. I got my car was 4:30, and if I'd have to stop to pee on the way home, I would have been home 20 to 5.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean Thursday nights are usually the worst.
20 to 5.
No, I'm sorry, 20 to 6. I apologize.
I was going to say it was taking 10 minutes to get home.
No, I didn't helicopter home. No, I'm sorry, I didn't helicopter home. But yeah, you're right, Jeff. It's different, but again, I think there's too many options now. Like you could just most nights I come home, I don't even watch regular TV. I'm DVRing stuff. I'm catching classics whenever I can. I have no idea some of these new shows and if they do anything.
Yeah, of course.
But I also think a lot of these shows nowadays don't like years ago. You knew a week before Christmas you were going to see the Happy Days Christmas special or the Laverne and Shirley Christmas special. Or MASH's Christmas special, whatever it was. Nowadays, I don't think a lot of these shows do that stuff.
No, they don't. But I was talking more of the old-fashioned variety shows where, we talked about this last week for a little bit, where they have basically, 2 stages.
Yeah.
The stage where the host comes out, and then the stages where the guests come out and sing. That these were shows that were filmed in June and July and August, and they're shown in December.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I miss those days where Dean Martin would come out and they do a couple of skits and then they sing a couple of songs. They do a couple more. They do a little comedy routine. I miss that stuff.
Build a fake snowman or something.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you. I think that's a classic era gone by that we're probably never going to see again. And unfortunately, families would sit around the house and you'd wait for stuff like that.
Well, of course, because like you said, it was a different story. These were people that were fresh off of like the only thing they had to do was fucking listen to a radio. Now all of a sudden they had Christmas on it.
Sure.
I gotta watch the Christmas show because better than fucking sitting there watching nothing.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that, Jeff. And listen, guys, we got a couple more weeks. We'll run the Christmas special out till New Year's. Whatever New Year's special we do. We'll kind of, I would hope if we do a New Year's Eve special, if not the first show of the year, if not New Year's Eve, but a New Year's special, Jeff will do his annual breakdown of all the people we lost this year. Because I got to tell you, I don't know if it's maybe because we're paying attention more, but it seems like a lot of people in music and sports died this year.
Yeah, well, being there was nothing else on, there was like, hey, where did so and so? Oh, I didn't make it.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, I don't know if it was because we're so in tune to the news, but Joe Morgan and Dick Allen, and it's just so many sports. Kobe Bryant, so many people died this year.
Yeah.
It's it's gonna be a big list this year for you, Jeff. So we'll see.
I'm gonna another thing that I want you to do for next week.
Go ahead.
Is to break up this holiday thing a little bit, just a little bit.
Sure.
I want you to come on with your top 5 favorite holiday shows. Everything that came on from Thanksgiving to the end of the year till New Year's. So I want you to think hard about it.
All right. Give me a little specifics. Do you mean like the 1980 Dean Martin show or
whatever it might have been?
Top 5 Christmas specials or shows?
Holiday specials. So it includes Thanksgiving.
Wow.
It could include a series like how the Honeymooners are on, how the movie A Christmas Story is on, stuff like that. So I want to see what your top 5 Christmas entertainment was.
I got it. I got it written in the book for next week already. So that's a good one. Well, yeah, we all themed. We're going to try to do a lot of I got to tell you, there probably won't be a ton of sports and music next week. It's going to be as much themed around Christmas. I'm going to try to get a few people on next week to kind of just give their Christmas stories and their likes and dislikes. So we're going to turn it into a Christmas, have a little fun with the holidays, and kick off and do our show like we always do. But it's getting late.
For anything special for Christmas this year?
No. I actually, for the first time, my wife talked me into it. I'll admit it on the air. I'll have to go ahead and admit this on the air. I'm a big believer that I tell my wife all the time, you can not buy me anything if you want. That's your business. Christmas, birthday. But I refuse to do that. I buy her a gift every year. And it's something big and different. And it's never like a vacuum or a washing machine for her birthday or for Christmas. To me, it's, a Christmas present. This is the first year I let her talk me into, we're not buying each other big gifts. We're going to buy something as a couple that we've wanted to buy, and then buy each other just a bunch of stocking stuffers and, little stuff. It's the first year I let her talk me into that because I don't believe that. Like, I think I want to buy her a gift. So, I won't admit it on the air yet what it is we've decided to buy. We'll do that. I'll do that maybe next week if you want to bring it up and ask me next week.
I want to know
now. No, I will not admit to it. No, it's nothing bad, to be honest with you. It's nothing big. It's just, something we both kind of wanted and we kind of put it off. And so now I think it'll be a purchase.
So in other words, what this means is this is something that the wife wants. That's so expensive that it has to be a couple's present.
Well, yes, I would agree with that. But it's something I've wanted also, but not as badly as probably she has. So we'll leave it to that for next week.
Are you adopting a little kid from Zimbabwe or something?
No, nothing like that. No new dogs, definitely no new kids. And it's a very boring gift, but it's something that's a little expensive, but something that we both kind of had wanted and probably need. So we'll not a vacation, none of that kind of stuff. So I'll admit it on the air next week. If you want to ask me next week. Not a vacation.
It's not a vacation, but it's something that you want.
Yes.
You want it too.
I would say yes. It's not my first choice in the world, but it's something that we probably both need. So we'll bring it up next
getting
week.
a new bedroom set.
No.
Oh, it's you're getting a new mattress.
Well, all right. Listen, if we're going to buy one of those Sleep Number or Craft Mat, one of those beds where they kind of move and you kind of set your numbers on it. So we're going to go get one of those beds.
Okay. All right. Listen, that's a multi-purpose gift.
Yeah, it's
numbers for her, and then you could pick some numbers too and say, I'm going to put the bed in this position so we could do this number.
Right.
You know?
Yes,
that's why
I didn't think of it that way, as a matter of fact.
Oh, gotta think of it that way. There'll be no more excuses for not being able to get into that position.
That's very true. We can use the bed as put a little old for that.
I taught you the way I want you now.
Yes, exactly. It's a good point, Jeff. I never thought of it that way. But but about yourself, is there a special gift you want to see under the tree this year?
Well, I can't have what I want. So that's all I could say. And it is something that I wish could be different, but it's not.
Okay.
But, if I could, it would be that Basil could see.
Oh, Yes, that's beautiful. That's pretty. That's nice.
That's would be what I would want.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. And somebody sent her a bark box.
Okay. What's the? I don't know what a bark box is. What's that?
It's this monthly present that comes for the dog, and it comes with snacks and
that's cute.
toys and everything else. So last night she was going ballistic, just destroying a toy. We knew she was going to destroy it as soon as we seen it, but she was just happy doing it, and it made her happy, and it was almost like for a few minutes we were like, well, maybe she can see a little bit, but then she walks into a wall and like she can't see, But that's why she hasn't been on the show the last couple of weeks, because she's down in the basement with Sharon now.
Right.
And maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was doing something up here, and I turned around and looked, and she was sitting right there.
Oh, wow.
She came up 2 flights of stairs by herself, which we can't have, because one side of the wall, the stairs has a wall, the other side has nothing there.
Oh, wow. God forbid.
So, if she makes a hard right, she, right side. So, we have baby gates all over the house and, stuff like that. But, she's still my little buddy, and that's all there is to that. I just wish that she could see again. That's all.
Yeah. Who knows what they'll invent over the years, Jeff? You never know, but it is what it is, and all you can do is try to keep her happy and keep her safe. And, hopefully she has a semi normal. When you walk her outside, how is she?
She doesn't know what's going on.
No, does she lead the way, or are you dragging her around?
Depends on. Sometimes she has to go to the bathroom, and like I'll take her outside, and she won't go, and then I got to pick her up, and I'll carry her to the other end of the yard where there's a bit of a hill.
Right.
And I think she knows where she is. So it makes her like that she's got to walk.
Right.
But, like just close your eyes and spin yourself in a circle and then try to think where you are.
No, I get it. I get it. It's not like she can communicate, where, you're human. You say, I walk 5 feet ahead and make a right. And, you don't have that ability with her. But, from the pictures I see, whatever stuff you post, it looks like she's still, a happy-go-lucky dog. So maybe it's not affecting her as much as it is affecting you.
I don't know. We'll see. You can only hope.
Yep, that is a beautiful thought, Jeff. And like I said, you guys are great people for taking care of her the way you are, and hopefully you give her just a nice, long, happy life. And who knows what life brings later on.
That's what we can hope.
That's it. So Christmas coming. I don't expect anything big under the tree. Personally, don't really want anything big under the tree. I'd like this COVID to be over. I'd like to be back to normal. And one thing that's good, hopefully normal, is the Rosebank boys are getting together on December the 19th at 1:00 down at Mode Music. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want to stop by and see the boys, we're all going to be there for a few hours playing some music. Looking forward to that, Jeff. That's always a good time.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, a week away.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a week away, and could be good to see the boys. I haven't heard from your brother. Is your brother attending?
I don't know. I'd have to ask him. I do not know.
Yeah, he said on the thing he was popping in, but I haven't noticed him on any of the subsequent lists. But Ron Mormino said he was coming, and Greg said he was popping in, and let's hope everybody does. Hopefully,
at least drummer, right?
Huh?
We have at least one drummer, I hope, right?
Ronnie's coming and Drew's coming.
All right, cool.
So, and then at one point you had a singer coming. Is that person still coming?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah. I spoke to them about it the other day. Yeah, they said.
I know Johnny Collins, who I love. Johnny can flake a little bit, but Johnny said he's going to show up, so we should have quite the guest list. And I also have to tell you that there is an outside chance we've been asked to help out somebody who's desperately in need, and haven't. It won't be a regular fundraiser like we normally would do. Maybe something online. I'll talk to you about it. I've been sworn to secrecy. I cannot announce who it is. I cannot tell. I'm not even supposed to tell you who it is. You might even know the person. I'm not sure. But somebody called me today and asked if the need was there, would we get involved? And I said, listen, I can never say no. It just won't be a venue event. But I'll talk to you about it off the air when I know a little bit better. But there's a possible chance in the next few weeks we may do a fundraiser type thing on the air.
Well, okay. What is it for liquor money?
It's no. It's a fairly serious thing. And again, I probably would have said no. Other than the person who asked me, somebody we both know a very long time. You know even longer. And while I don't know the person, the circumstances are a little sad, and I felt like I couldn't say no if while asked. So anyway. We'll see. Maybe do something different. They'll set up a GoFundMe page. We'll have some musicians on, have some people on, have an attempt to raise some money and see if we can make a difference. But it's still up in the air, and I'll tell you about it off the air next time I talk to you.
Okay.
And but that's it, guys. We're going to wind this down right now. It's Jeff and Tom on the Hard Rock and Sports Show, live here every Thursday night, 7 to 10, right here on the our Facebook page. And of course, you can go to Blog Talk Radio and catch us on the radio side. We'll be back next Thursday night, 7 to 10, with our big holiday spectacular. Lots of guests, some music, and lots of Christmas talk. We'll talk about right off the bat. We got our top 5 holiday specials, special shows that we're growing up, or that's something we look forward to every year. I know March of the Wooden Soldiers and the Peanuts Christmas special are two on Jeff's list. I will guarantee you guys, he doesn't have to even tell me. I know those are 2 on there. Are they top 2, bottom 2? I'm not sure, but I'll guarantee you those 2 things are on Jeff's list.
A lot of Christmas is tied up in both.
Exactly right. So, but you'll have to tune in next week to hear both of our lists and a lot more stuff. And again, next Saturday, this is the 19th. If the Mad DeBozo doesn't shut the city down, we'll be down at Mode Music with all our friends. And we got plenty of stuff coming up after the holidays. And I'll send out some stuff on what we're doing on the 23rd and for New Year's and forward. But guys, for now, we're going to end the show. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a little bit warm out in the 50s, and there'll be plenty of football, college, and again, Army Navy this weekend, guys. If you get the opportunity, it's not the same. There probably won't be any fans in the stands, but Army Navy is still a great game. The tradition is amazing. If you get a chance to watch Army Navy this weekend, please do. And of course, lots of big football games to see, especially Giants and the Cardinals this Sunday. So make sure you tune in so you can hear Jeff and I do battle over my credibility next Thursday night. Right, Jeff?
Mm.
Here we go. But anyway, we'll bring this to a close. So, guys, Jeff, you got anything you want to end with?
No, that's it, man.
So, again, guys, for all of us here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, please have a great weekend. Enjoy your holiday week. It's a holiday straight through. Enjoy it, even though it's 2020, and we're hoping for vaccines and whatever else to lift all this bullshit that we don't care about anymore because we're tired of it. But enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next Thursday night. And on behalf of Jeff, myself, and over right here at Hard Rock and Sports, I say good night, and we'll see you next Thursday night. Jeff, I'll talk to you off the air.
Later, man.
Later, man.
Be good.